Hey, young world, what's good? It's your boy Bernard Berrien, aka B Twice. And when I go podcasting, I make sure to rock with the Chicago Clubhouse podcast, where they think they know everything, but they really don't know shit. Twice.
What up? This is Rashid Davis, former Chicago Bear wide receiver. Yeah, that guy. And you're rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse podcast, where they think they know everything, but they don't know jack.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the podcast where we think we know everything, but we really don't know shit. The first thing I wanted to do, though, before I bring in the all-star team and the guest, is you know how I always kick off the show with the Moors, baby. Raise your standards. Get you one. Silky, I got you. It's good beer. And some of you might be asking, why the hell are you drinking beer at 11 o'clock in the morning? This is the kind of beer you drink all day. And I drink all day. All right. So anyway, welcome to a special pregame edition of the Chicago Clubhouse podcast. I mentioned his name already. Our special guest today, my man, fan favorite. Actually, everybody loves to watch him because he don't hold his tongue about shit. Not a damn thing. He says whatever the hell he wants to and how he feels. And he tells it like he sees it. Hey, like it or don't like it. But I want to bring in the all-star team. First up, my man that knows every single stat from every single team since the 80s and 90s. JB.
What up? What up?
JB, what up, man? How you feel on this Saturday?
Man, I'm feeling good. Got out early, did my old man routine, went to the bank, paid some bills, you know.
Wow. All that grown folk shit is overrated. It's overrated, man.
I tied my shoes once. It was a very overrated experience.
Next up for the All-Star team, my man, the X Factor, AB.
Oh, what's up, guys? How are we? This
AB,
ugly.
what's happening, man?
It's not beautiful out. It's gray and shitty here, just like our team is right now, guys. It's doomy out. It's looking like it's rain.
Yeah.
Hey, every morning you wake up breathing is a beautiful day, my man.
You got me there.
Beautiful day.
You got me there.
Yeah. We on the other side of 40, so now shit starts to go wrong. So if we wake up in the morning, shit is great.
Those old bones start freaking a bit more too, don't they?
You ain't on the other side of 40 yet, my bad. But still, you old.
I'm old. Yeah, I'm gonna be 38 next month, actually. So
38, man, I remember that shit, boy.
I don't
38. I was still trying to hold on, man. I wasn't engaged or nothing. I was trying to hold on. Hey, but we have an addition to the All-Star team today. Man, he's actually been on the Chicago Clubhouse podcast before, so he's no stranger. And especially the football, this dude is like a fucking football almanac. The superback, Sean Sierra.
What up, fellas?
Hey.
How with you, homie?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Rough night, long night yesterday at Sox Park. A big victory for the good guys on the south side. Fireworks are blazing, beers are flowing, shots were being thrown back.
Hell
man,
yeah.
Oh man, oh man. It was one hell of a night. Thank God.
Right. They play today and tomorrow too, right?
6 o'clock today, and then tomorrow they have a matinee affair where they wear their 1983 throwback uniforms.
And that's
Sean.
What's up, Papa?
Do you think they get home field?
No. Because the way it has to go is they have to sweep. They got to win today and tomorrow, and Houston has to lose today and tomorrow. So Houston lost last night, but I don't think it. And I know Houston's playing Oakland, and Oakland needs these victories, but I don't know.
for it. I was like, oh, they might
Man,
have
if they can get that, holy sheesh, man, that'll be dope. It's gonna be a tough task because one Sox loss or one Houston victory and it's locked in. So we'll see.
All right.
Man. Okay. You think they'll get rained out tomorrow?
They might get rained out today.
I think I think they might get rained out both.
And those games they have to happen because it's a playoff seed. Oh, actually they don't. The MLB could just say finish.
Yeah,
it
they
right
would
there.
if Houston loses. So
Well, shit, I bought a slab of tickets for the game tomorrow. If it gets rained out, you think I'm gonna get my money back?
No, they'll probably just give you credit. Yeah, come
credit. Credit. To wait till next season, I don't want credit. Shit, I want my money back. Yeah. Hey, but anyway, let's bring in the fan favorite, man. One of my favorite Bears from 1985. He's very outspoken, like I said. So everybody, clutch your pearls, grab your purse, hold on to the handles of your chair. But let's bring him in. Silky D, Dennis McKinnon.
There he is.
Gentlemen.
What's up, Sir Silky?
You know, I always remind people when people say outspoken. Outspoken means nothing if you don't know your facts. So I speak truth. There's a difference between being outspoken and speaking the truth.
It is?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I consider myself to be very outspoken, but I always tell the truth.
So with me, you don't have to go to Google.
I'm gonna get it straight from the horse's mouth.
I keep it real.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. And that's why you are a fan favorite.
Is that Sean Sierra? Oh, I know I got to catch up with him.
Yeah, hey, you know it, baby.
JB, how much you pushing in the background? Is that 2.25?
It is.
Man, them water weights, man.
YMCA weights back there. I love it.
Yeah, I try to keep it safe a little bit.
gotta keep it tight.
Especially when we start getting up in age like we are, man. Jeez.
Yeah. I'm older than all of you on here.
Yes, you are, doctor, and I'm pretty damn old. I just hit 50, Silky D. Can you
50, man? You in my rearview mirror.
Congratulations.
Just hit 50 in July, bro. That was nuts. Nuts.
I got you by a decade. Ain't that something? Wow.
Man. It just seems like it was just 1999 a few years ago, me and you, when you were calling our plays, huh?
Hey, man.
22 years ago.
What plays? Calling plays where?
So Silky D was my offensive coordinator for the Chicago Chargers.
Back
in 1999.
And we were undefeated.
Wow.
National champions that year. And
that's dope. Okay. Yeah. Hey, that's AB in the back, Silk. That's AB right there with the headphones on, looking cool.
Is AB affirmative action?
Hold here. Whoa. We're getting off on the right track already, aren't we?
Oh, wow.
Hey, man, I'm having my morning coffee. I'm already juiced up.
Oh, man.
Yeah, slow down on the coffee, Silk. Slow down. We ain't ready yet. Oh, man. Silk. What is going on with these Bears, man? What are they doing to Justin Fields?
Man, let me tell you what. I did looked at a couple plays knowing I was going to come on today. And I'm going to run something by you. Second quarter. Bears are at 2nd and 9. I think it's 10 minutes to go in the second quarter. They're in our left pro set. Sean would relate to this. They're in a spread. I'm looking up top. You got Bird up top. They're in soft man, not dog. Okay, they're in nickel defense. So I'm looking middle linebacker spying on Fields. I'm looking at Jason Peters. He's down blocking with Cody Whitehead. Interesting concept. Outside backer who is literally man-to-man with Montgomery. That's Montgomery's guy. So Fields does a fake. Montgomery turns his back to the guy who's actually watching him. Now, there's no protection. Now, from the way I was taught, if the guy on the left corner was in press dog, you run off. It's a fade route because it's a hot read.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's in soft man, it's a slant. So I'm watching Bird. Bird is running a takeoff. You need to run the slant first off, because that delayed blitz, that was Montgomery's pickup. He missed the blitz pickup. The Bird doesn't make the side adjustment. It's the delayed sack on Fields. I'm looking at this and I'm like, do we watch film at all? You got to know where your hot reads are. This is fundamental football. And so if you look at all the sacks the Bears gave up, everybody says, Justin holds on the ball too long. Well, when you're running for your life and it gets into your head, you don't have protection. That's what you do. Justin didn't have this kind of pressure when he was at Ohio State. So let's forget about all that. During preseason, you're playing against guys who are trying to make the team. Everybody who's already made the team is in street clothes.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you saw in preseason. So he has not had the reps against live. And it's obvious that when you see that. What I'm looking at this Bears team is they are posers. That's all they are. And it's unfortunate that we have a lot of guys who are mentally not up here, mentally not smart. Sometimes you have to act like a football player, regardless of what you see in film sessions. And sometimes when you have 4 guys rushing, you only got 3 guys protecting, you got to check out of that play. A lot of times Justin did not check out of a play when he did not have protection. And Jason Peters is flat-footed, very old and very overweight. You got Myles Garrett, who's a freak of nature, and you didn't help Jason Peters almost all day. That's bad coaching. And I'm really sick of all the excuses that they have at Hallis Hall. Nagy should have been gone last year. But it's unfortunate for Bear fans. Your frustration is only going to get worse. It's not a matter of who's at quarterback, even though Fields is an upgrade for Andy Dalton. Coaching-wise, schematically-wise, we are not coached very well. And that's a hard pill to swallow, but it is evident when they show up on Sunday. And from a former player perspective, it's hard for me to watch because we were never allowed to make these kind of mistakes and still start.
Well said.
So let me ask you this, Silky, back to that wide receiver. So is that check to the hot slant, is that Damiere Byrd's call, or should that be Nagy just like an automatic read? If you see this, everybody check to that.
Well, my thing is when you're out wide, you're looking at, depending on if they're in a 3-4 or 4-3, how many guys have their hand in the dirt. You need to count from the safety over to you. If anybody in that space disappears, it's a hot read.
It's a hot read. Period.
No ifs and buts about it. And so from that perspective, are you kidding me? What are you looking at? Allen Robinson has perfected the 7-yard catch for $18 million.
Yeah.
You look at the Bears receivers as a whole, they're averaging 8 yards a catch. 8. It's insulting. But every time you see highlights from Hallis Hall, what are they doing? Partying, having a good time, turnover chain, dunk bucket. I'm like, show me some practice. Show me some real practice. So it's gotten to the point where the bar is very low. The expectations aren't as high as they should be because this organization, especially this coaching staff, has gotten very comfortable with being average. I was never allowed to take this kind of time off and not show up every week and still know I had a guaranteed job.
And there's something that I kind of noticed too, Silky, is they only went in motion like twice, I think, in that whole game. Yep. And, you can't identify defenses correctly, even as a rookie, without, having that motion to see if those men are running with the wide receivers in motion, things like that, seeing Jermaine Ifedi, constantly, in my opinion, not using the right techniques, getting open on the inside, letting guys getting by him. Is that also like on Juan, for not having those guys ready, or is that just a lack of, this offensive line really not knowing what they're doing and not really being prepared, and on a physical aspect, for guys like Myles Garrett?
Confidence is one thing, a continuity. You have to have that up front. I think Sean can relate to this. If it's not a cohesive unit, defenses will find out where your flaws are and they will attack. And for a rookie quarterback, during my day, almost every quarterback was under center. Almost every quarterback now is in the shotgun. So there is no excuse for you not to be able to see coverages. But if you have a young kid that comes from a system in Ohio State where they were calling all the fronts for him, all he did is stand and turn to the sideline. Everything's is given to you. In this particular case, all motion does is identify if it's man or zone and tells you where your hot read is.
Yeah.
If they don't motion, when you run motion, nobody run with it. All they're really doing is kicking the coverage. Pretty simple.
Over, yeah.
The game ain't changed in 100 years. And anytime somebody tells me, well, he's a genius. Genius don't mean jack if you ain't got personnel. If you don't have players that are smart above the neck that know this game. Football is not checker, it's chess. You got to be able to outthink your opponent. Film study can only do so much. It's actually having game speed in practice. Practicing in every possible situation so you're not surprised when that situation presents itself.
But also, you need to be able to adjust on the fly because, as you mentioned, being in chess, you're going to make moves that you don't show on film. As you know, every week you always put in new wrinkles, whether it be offense or defense. And as a staff, whether offense or defense on the other team, you need to be ready and be able to make changes. And that's the issue one of the issues that I have with Nagy, that there are no changes made. How many times have we come out at half? And how many points have we had in his 4 years here, 3+ years here? It's something embarrassingly low. And so that just tells me, and it shows you what is it? How is that?
I think it's just below 18 points a game, Sean.
No, but I'm saying in the third quarter.
He calls plays, it's 8.
No, but I'm saying, and first of all, that's bad. But I'm talking just coming out of the third quarter. Bears don't score a lot of points in the third quarter, and that shows me that he's not making adjustments at halftime. And if you're not making adjustments at halftime, what are you doing in there? What are you doing?
Agree.
So I had a conversation with the person that wants to fire Nagy like yesterday. And
the whole Chicagoland area?
The whole Chicagoland area, right. But I said, if you come down to it, Pace, the front office, they've allowed this to occur. Like you said, Silky, he probably should have been gone last year. So is it just being stubborn or is it just stupid? Is it stubbornness or stupidity? Because either way, we're wasting a defense that, is probably on its last legs this year. Financially, we don't know who we can and can't bring back. So we might not give this kid a proper chance to succeed for the next 2-3 years, just on personnel alone.
With a lot of personnel that you've already extended their contracts. And so you're kind of stuck with him. And with Nagy, even if you buy Nagy, what is the buyout? Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate that I went to Buffalo this past weekend. So I saw Coach Frazier, who is the assistant head coach and defensive coordinator for the Bills, and Ron Rivera, my other teammate, who is the head coach for the Washington football team. I only briefly got a chance to see Mr. Stravinsky, and I apologize to him for what happened here. Because when you have athletic quarterbacks and you're still leading the league in sacks, that's a bad sign. That's a bad combination. And I think with that, it's a situation where Nagy reminds me a lot of, any of you guys remember a quarterback named Scott Mitchell?
Yes. Detroit Lions, Miami Dolphins, yes.
Scott Mitchell got a huge contract to play with the Lions because he played behind Dan Marino. Mm-hmm. Matt Nagy got a head coaching job because he was on Andy Reid's staff. Just because you're in the presence of greatness don't make you great. And that's what you have sold to this fan base. Well, don't you do your due diligence? If you're you own your company, don't you do your due diligence before you hire an employee?
You should.
So I don't understand where all these red flags are on Nagy. The Bears brass didn't see it.
Yeah. And Silky, I mean, even I'm going to piggyback off of JB a little bit and say, even if we fire Nagy, you've got Ryan Pace making these decisions. Do you really think that he's going to make the right decision again? And if you get rid of Pace, you've got Ted Phillips making these decisions again. Do we trust him to make the right decisions?
Woo, man. Let me tell you what, man. I'm telling you what, when you're a charter franchise, we're going to get to what's going on in Arlington Heights at some point, I'm quite sure. They could have got out of the deal with the Chicago Park District years ago. I would have paid the fine years ago when we had tremendous amount of leverage.
Mm-hmm.
When you're looking at the fact that every team that gets a new stadium gets a Super Bowl, but the fact that the Bears were 5,500 seats below consideration, so they were never going to get a Super Bowl in Chicago, which makes no sense with a state that's always cash strapped. And then you sell your historical rights to a corporation, so you lost your tax bracket as well. Makes no sense. Everything that I'm quite sure that Arlington Heights may be offering, we had that available in Chicago. Every time I see Jerry Jones on TV bragging about what's going on in Jerry's world, because he has a retractable, he has a closed-in stadium. We could have had a retractable dome, and a lot of those events could have been here.
Yeah,
we had the NFL draft here back-to-back years. So we had nothing we could showcase here. That'd have been perfect. I mean, so it's just the McCaskies are a trust. So as long as the family's getting their money, they don't care about anybody else. They're never going to lose any money. The fix is already in. They're guaranteed to cover their budget every single year, whether we win or lose.
Yep.
So Silky D, let me ask you this question then. Thinking about, I guess we're going down this route to Arlington Heights. Do you, people have talked about, obviously wanting them to sell, rabid Bears fans, they sell. And they're not going to sell. Then recently, last few months, we've heard a lot of, there's a lot of rumors about there being some strife within the family. Do you think that they may be holding on to get this stadium built? Because once the stadium built, because they're at $3.5 billion right now is what they're valued at. So what you get a stadium, they're going to be well over $5 billion net worth. Do you think that's the reason that they're holding on? If they is to get a stadium, have their valuation go to 5+, and then it's easier to sell off because now everyone gets a lot bigger piece of the cookie?
That I would lean towards yes on that. And also the infrastructure of 53 and 355 is horrendous. They're going to have to really do some major construction to bring a professional football team into Arlington Heights. It's not equipped for it, just from a traffic standpoint and an infrastructure. You need to add another lane. It's already I can't say that where it can't. It's a clusterfuck already off 90.
Yes.
Getting off, right? I mean, there's more accidents right there at 90 and 355. What are you going to do when you're probably going to have 75 to 80,000?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like it's a headache in the making. When the Bears built the old stadium, where it was at 2006, the Bears had to play down in Champaign for a year.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit before that, I
was it 2004?
2001, right?
Yeah, I think they started in 01 and they finished up in 02.
It just breaks my heart that the Packers are going to have a Super Bowl before we do. It's just sad, the fact that everything that's in this league comes after us. Everybody else has their hands in a cookie jar, and we're still trying to make the dough.
And we're still trying to get a 4,000-yard passer. We don't even have to go there. I mean, the charter franchise still making these mistakes, Silky. It's embarrassing at this point.
But even worse, like you said, we got a finance guy making these mistakes. Yeah. Financial, like what you're actually supposed to be good at.
Well, I think he has a lot more say than we think, than most people think. And here's why I say that. Because, we always talk about, and especially on my show, we need football people in football positions making football decisions. Okay, that's fair enough. And I agree with that. So why wouldn't Pace be considered a football guy? Pace played Division I football. Pace was with the New Orleans Saints in a franchise that won a Super Bowl while he was down there, and understand, and he should have understood, apparently being down there long enough, how a franchise is run from the front office perspective. So why would he come here and not make those similar moves? First of all, I'm like, is he an idiot? Or is there someone else controlling him? Does someone have their hand up his ass, making him a puppet? Because part of me makes me think that's what it is that he might be hamstrung, or he might be told what to do. Because remember, he couldn't even hire his own his head coach. Ernie, of course, he had to come in to consult and say, hey, this is the guy you should hire. So, is Ryan Pace a puppet? And if he is, why would you want to stay that way unless you just want it for your resume? But it makes me question actually how much power Ryan Pace has, because a guy with a Division I college background, background in the front office with the New Orleans Saints when they won a Super Bowl should be able to make better decisions than this.
This is true, and I think Ted Phillips has been around a very, very long time. And yes, there's a lot of things with this organization that goes on behind closed doors. And sometimes they think the general public and fans are really not that bright, but we really are. This is business, but this is business with no urgency because they got guaranteed money. And if they were Detroit or Jacksonville or New York Jets, they will be panicking. But it's the Bears, one of the most loyal fan bases in all of sports. So there's no urgency for them to do better.
Okay. Well, Sean, so I kind of have a question for you off of what you said. This is something I've really kind of mentioned on here a lot. Do you think that there's a chance that since they've heard a lot of these fans, run out and say we need a president of football operations, do you think they could make the move of maybe just moving Pace up to that role and bringing in another GM? Because that's what I kind of see happening.
It's really dependent and contingent on what powers he has. You can give anybody a title. Yeah. You can give anybody a title and say you're director of this, president of that, president of this, president. Hell, Mark Helfrich was the offensive coordinator. He didn't call a play. So it's about what type of power you have, because and I don't think they're getting rid of Ted Phillips anytime soon. So even if you do bump Pace up to Ted Phillips' influence is going to have a lot of weight. And we're still going to be in the same position. And, I said it yesterday, as a matter of fact, just being funny, like to borrow the words of the poet laureate, the Joker, Jack Nicholson, this town needs an enema. Yep. This team needs an enema. It's got to go all the way up to Ted Phillips because I believe he makes a lot of those decisions for Pace, and Pace is just a fall guy, because why wouldn't you? How many times did we hear from Pace during the regular season?
We did.
Exactly. Why did he come out when Tevin Jenkins was hurt and placed on IR? Why didn't he say come out and address us as a fan base? You know what? It's a lot of secrecy, as you said, Silky D up there. They play their card. They keep their cards close to the vest, and they feel like, as you said, we're the only franchise football franchise in town. We could do whatever the hell they want because whoever decides to turn in their season tickets, guess what? There's 10 people waiting, ready, willing, and able to pick up the slack. So it's remember the Cubs back in the day before they were good, and the Cubs they put a shit product on the field. Why? Because people were still going. They wanted to go drink beer in the sun. They wanted to go take off of work. They wanted to say I was at Wrigley. They wanted to do all this, and they're like, why? I mean, if you look at it from a business perspective, if you're getting this type of return without shelling out, without those expenses, I would do the same thing. But then all of a sudden, the Cubs fans got slick and they said, "Oh, now let's stop going." So season tickets went down. There are more seagulls in the bleachers than there were fans, and they're like, "Okay, well, let's kind of make a change now." So you got to hit them where it hurts, and that's the pocketbooks. But for the Bears being the only team in town, there's more than 4 to 5. I'd say easily 5 people for every person who wants to get rid of their season tickets who are ready to jump in.
Yeah, and kind of adding on that, I'm hoping that Ted Phillips, with this Arlington move, maybe they push him a little more towards that focus to to keep the football operations out of his hands. That's my hope for this, Sean. I mean, I really hope that they can, kind of move his role outward and make it more about Arlington Heights and about trying to get the best of what we can get in the future out of that. And dare I say it, Brian Pace making all of the decisions on that.
But see, I don't think not an apples to oranges comparison, apples and oranges is still fruit to me. Meaning, we've seen this picture before. We've seen this movie before through a lot of our franchises. Most recently, like you said, Sean, the Cubs. But we can go back to the Bulls, where we had a basketball guy in John Paxson, a basketball guy in Foreman making oddball decisions that just kept putting the franchise back and back and back and back and back. But it didn't matter because they were already paid. The stadium was already sold out. It didn't hit their pockets until they said, oh, wait, man, we got these season tickets sold. No parking because people aren't showing up. No concessions, no merchandise because people aren't showing up to the stadium. The tickets are sold, so you got that money. That's already in your pocket. But you didn't get that other revenue. And that's kind of like what I'm saying. The Bears fans, if they really want to see some type of change, we the ones that got to stand up and say, you know what? I can't stand this product right now. It sickens my stomach. Every year we get a inch closer defensively and we go 3, 4, 5 steps backwards. I was talking with another guy. Silky, I want your take on this too. Well, had we just drafted Deshaun Watson, we wouldn't have had this problem. I said, no, Deshaun Watson probably wouldn't be what we see him as to be now. He'd probably be Mitch. You know? And I'm not saying that as a knock because he's a hell of a quarterback, a championship winner in high school and in college, matter of fact. Mm-hmm. But it's like, it's something about this regime that they can't get out their own way. And maybe even being a football guy, you're just not good at what you do.
Well, I think you hit it on the head. A few things on that. When you say John Paxson, he wouldn't have got the job if he didn't play with Mike. Let's be real. One of the major reasons why Bear franchises don't do well, because more times than not, the guy that's in charge of the ship has an ego that's so big that he will not allow people to coach or his players to play. I mean, we had the biggest ego coach in Ditka. But if Ditka did not have the horses, how long would he have been here? It's hard to, it's easy to take credit when you got the right team and all you do is win. But when you don't win, you perfect how to put the blame on everybody else. Great leadership is finding all the weak links in the chain and get rid of them, or figure out a way to make them feel like they're irreplaceable. And you surround yourself with people who know what they're doing. Every head coach brings in his own staff. And, more times than not, you're always going to talk about where they went, the influence they had, just like our defensive coordinator. He's a genius, really. Amazing how all of a sudden we got guys who changed their numbers back to their college numbers, who can't tackle, who can't cover. I'm like, and I told people, I said, Fangio got a job in Denver. Why? They were 6-10 a year before we brought Mac in doing preseason. We got 4 guys on defense who got all pro. We went 12-4. Pace got what? Not Pace. Nagy got offense. Coach of the year.
He got coach of the year. Yeah.
We got coach of the year on Mitch Trubisky, and you get rid of it, right? Okay, so everybody got accolades. Pace got executive of the year. Everybody got all these titles. Mm-hmm. You had the horses, but you had the easiest schedule in the league. You go 12-4. The next year you go 8-8, right?
Right.
The reason why you go 8-8 because everybody who hadn't seen Nagy's offense had it on film. Once I was able to see it on film, we can stop that real quick. I mean, so it's you have a small window to be great before everybody catches up to speed. And when they catch up to speed, can you still do what you do? Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, I've seen more comparisons with players today than players back in the day. I just laugh because players today, soft, very soft and very sensitive. When you suck, somebody should be able to tell you suck. When you've had a bad game, somebody else should be able to tell you had a bad game.
Right. That should light a fire inside you.
Yes. I mean, and to me, when I talk about mistakes, missing blitzes and missing push-ups, we had to test before every game. If you don't grade 90+%, you don't start. So when I'm watching a game and I'm watching guys missing blitz coverage, they're missing block, I'm like, how are you starting every week? The bar is low. It's very low. And but Sean would know that it really boils down to pride. Tremendous amount of pride of being great at what you do, not letting down your teammates, for one, not disappointing your fans, and always giving 100% effort no matter what.
Eddie Jackson.
Oh, Eddie? He's allergic to making tackles.
Allergic.
Does he even like football anymore?
There's no account.
Hey, yeah, he got paid. Hell yeah, he likes it.
Yeah,
he likes it back there.
Well, I tell you, if somebody doesn't get hit and the ball is rolling or bounces off a shoulder pad, Eddie Jackson is nowhere to be found. Mm-hmm. He was in the right place at the right time. He's a generic version of Mike Brown, because Mike Brown would hit you.
All 5'7" that Joker, and you felt and dude that.
Yes, I mean, so that's the thing that we gave so much credit to so many of these guys on defense who I laughed comparing themselves to my guys. My guys would eat your lunch. And then, I talk about Mac all the time. Has Mac made up for the investment that we put in him?
In my opinion, no. I'm not going to be easy on him. No.
And every time he doesn't show up on the stat sheet, what's the first thing we say? Oh, he was double teamed. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's an old excuse. Sean would know this. back in the day, you could cut outside the tackle box.
Mm-hmm.
Defensive ends now would hesitate on their blitz because they're going to get cut. Now you can't cut them. So sacks are up, guaranteed. But that being the case, you should be doing a lot more chipping when you got a great defensive end edge rusher. That should be in your game plan every single week, depending on who you got coming at you. So I really don't understand what they're doing, what kind of film session they're looking at, but we are just not a very good football team. We just aren't. And as they say, miracle talent will not show up. And this is a team that's more about themselves than about team, and it's so obvious on Sunday.
Yep.
Remember now, Sean, we got Mooney, we got Godwin. Is it Goodwin? Godwin, I forget. We got Bird, and we got Robinson, right? All this so-called speed, averaging 8 yards a catch. Wow.
Well, I'll even go deeper than this, Silky. I'll even go deeper than this. Let's bring in a 21st century, allegedly 21st century offense and still play on grass. Tomorrow it's supposed to rain. So now you have guys who are running sub 4.4s in mud. Tell me what good that does, because according to Ted Phillips and McCaskey, they're doing their research that it's no different playing on grass than it is field turf. I'm like, but if you got this defense, Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn and Roquan Smith and this speedy defense, why would you put them in mud? Why would you put them in mud at the end of the season? Now we're getting to October, November, December, and that field's not going to be pristine. Okay, think of all the fast teams. They don't play on grass. They play on field turf. But nope, these are decisions that are still being made by the front office. I brought in speed to play on a muddy track in the winter. That makes no kind of sense whatsoever.
And that means you're going to have a lot more leg injuries, guaranteed.
And then another thing we talked to, Silky, you talked about Khalil Mack. I was hard on him too. I'm like, hey man, you're getting all this money, and like, well, he's getting double and triple team. I'm like, I remember seeing him getting double and triple team in 2018 as well. And he'd go through two linemen. He'd flip off the running back with just a nice little flipper and get to the quarterback. I said, so the difference between 2018 and 2019 and 2020 and to this point is what? Okay, maybe last year he played with injuries. Okay, understandable. But still, now he's healthy. He needs to be able to go through double teams. And they got another guy, Robert Quinn, on the other side, who was just stealing money last year. I didn't even know if he showed up at practice, even Halla Hall. He was just getting direct deposits. This year, they're playing well. I will not. If I'm gonna give him shit, I'm gonna give him credit.
There you go.
They're playing well, and
those two are.
They're still impacting plays, even if they aren't making sacks. They're impacting plays.
I hear you, but there's a different pressure is important. But are we getting turnovers off of those plays? You know what I mean? If you like Khalil Mack, if he goes up and he forced the quarterback to throw, but he doesn't touch the quarterback, he forces him to throw a second early and it's picked. Well, then yes, then he's still impacting. But if he's not, because he has a hurry, because the quarterback runs and gets 15 yards and now it's another first down, well, then everybody else needs to step up. And that's the issue, is everybody else needs to step up as well. And I thought they do. I can't say the last two games. Last game, they definitely stepped up. The last two games, actually, with Robert Quinn, with Khalil Mack, with the nose guard Tonga. I really like that kid. I think that's really one of the reasons Eddie Goldman came back.
Hey,
he's like, I'm feeling a lot better this week after seeing the way Tonga played. I'm like, that's probably a good reason why Eddie Goldman is finally back playing this week, because that dude. And I don't mean to be generalize people, but everyone you've seen the South Pacific people, man, they're strong as oxen.
Yeah, he's Samoan. He's super.
That is a perfect segue. Are we tired of Eddie? Are we tired of him?
I am.
I'm tired of all the excuses why he's not playing.
So what do you think about his pitch count tomorrow? You think he plays half of the defensive plays, or he comes out, he plays the whole game? I mean,
you mean Goldman? I'm thinking Jackson. Are you talking
Goldman? Oh, it's Goldman?
Right?
Yeah. Remember now, they're playing Detroit. Yes. He's going to try to get every snap they can get. It's Detroit.
Yeah.
Because the next week, you're going to Vegas.
Yep.
Okay? It's a little different.
Yeah, that leg's
all guys want to get healthy on the team they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's about padding stats. That's all that is. You better get this win, because your next stretch, woo, ass whooping is coming.
Talk about you got the Raiders, you got the Packers, and then you got to go down to Tampa Bay. And Tom's terrific. Remember, after Tom's pissed that they lost to the Bears last year. Then you got you're home against the Niners. Then you got the Steelers. Then you got a bye week. Then the Ravens come to town before you get to the Lions again.
So we might not have another win until the next Lions game.
I think they can come out 9-8.
No,
I think they can.
You gave them 9? Shoot,
Yeah.
I saw 7, and it was a push like playing big.
Alan, what do we say? 6-11, right?
11 is what JP said beginning of the year.
Hey, you know what? They have to do one thing to change the fortunes of this team, in my opinion.
Get rid of Coach Nagy.
No, he can say they haven't fired a coach in midseason in their history, so they're not going to do that. So you know what? Fine, don't do that. You make it. You castrate that dude and say, hey, listen, all you're going to be is a CEO. You let Bill Lazor call the plays. Okay, this is a guy who we saw last year. They averaged 27, almost 30 points a game when he called the plays. So now you make him the offensive coordinator with Andy Dalton, or especially with Justin Fields. Yes. Okay, and now you have an offense that is efficient. It's smooth. It sets up plays for later in games, which is unbelievably important. Which is wrong. I think he just takes plays and calls them. You know what I mean? Like, you don't say, "Hey, we're going to run inside zone. We're going to run outside zone, outside zone, outside zone." Hey, my guy in the box, check out this backside end. Is he crashing? Is he crashing? He is good. Fourth quarter or third quarter when we need it, we're going to go boot, or we're going to go counter. We're going to do this. We're going to hold this in our back pocket till we need it, because we're going to keep doing it and letting them get comfortable, thinking it's okay for him to crash down and not have his responsibility. Nagy doesn't do that. Bill Lazor does. And then what that does is that keeps the defense off the field. And now they have all the energy they need when it's time for them to go and stop on 3rd and 1.
2 things to that comment. Players who play based on every series supposed to come to the sideline and tell their coach what they're seeing, what they're doing backside. You're supposed to have some input. Mm-hmm. Your input is supposed to be warranted to the head coach. So I'm looking at a lot of input coming from the sideline. Nagy's not paying attention to any input because I'm going to do what I want to do. Mm-hmm. Coaches always say we can script the first 7-10 plays. That's great. But if they ain't working, then you adjust to what you're seeing. And you get the input from your players, and you adjust series to series based on down and distance, on personnel, depending on who coming in, what you need to do. That's football. And to me, I'm going to ride and die with you. But if you don't listen to me, I'm looking for an exit. This is a team that when things get tight, they're looking for an exit. And we kind of change that mental attitude, because they, just like last year, they quit. It was obvious they quit, and so from that standpoint, the schedule is going to get tougher. If we're on the rebound, this is the week to rebound, because right now everybody has doubt, and they should have doubts, because what I saw last week as a former player, I wasn't embarrassed. I was pissed. Mm-hmm. Because if that's the franchise and this is the kind of protection you gave him, you should be shot.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Confused when he's like this with his big old rainbow colored scorecard. I mean,
Denny's menu.
Denny's menu.
Then you see 11 personnel, curl, flat, curl, drag, curl, swing. Like, where's the creativity? Like,
where's Santa's sleigh that we used to run in 18? Give me some trick plays or something. Give me something to get excited about.
You said it best. We have an $18 million guy that has mastered the 7-yard catch, which is nothing.
And 9 times out of 10, he will dive to make it look spectacular. Really, it's a slant. What are you doing? I mean, so
curl flat,
curl flat.
Girls.
With the new rule change, nobody's rerouting anymore. So literally, guys aren't running routes; they're running to spots. And if you're just running the spots, I can guarantee there's one thing you're not doing in team meetings, or in this case, individual meetings. You're not learning how to read defenses. Yeah. I can read defense with my eyes closed, because I've seen every possible front and secondary front there is, and can tell you what they're going to do based on personnel and substitution, and based on where I'm on down and distance, what their tendencies are. So you can anticipate what they're going to do. I've been removed from the game 30 years. I laugh when what I see on Sunday. I'm like, really? My goodness gracious. This ain't coaching. This is really bad. This is really bad stuff.
All that speed and nobody can get open.
Well, yeah. I get sick and tired of people say, well, speed is great if you got it, but what good is it if you don't have the ball?
Yeah. Or if your quarterback's getting destroyed and running for his life.
I mean, I feel like
you mean your quarterback that's got speed?
Yeah, like
So this is something I want to ask you, Silky. A lot of people are saying, man, Justin Fields holds the ball too long. Justin Fields holds the ball too long. And my rebuttal to that is nobody creating separation. He don't want to throw an interception. What do you say?
Well, a lot of time when they're always watch when they're in shotgun. See if it's a 3, 5, or 7-step drop.
Yeah.
If it's a 3-step drop, you don't need max protection because the ball's coming out quick.
Should, yeah.
If it's a 5 or 7-step drop, there should be a back waiting for the blitz or somebody in motion for a chip. So you almost look like you got max protection. If all those receivers are running against man coverage, more times than not, once they get past 10 yards, they still haven't looked back yet. So if Justin's holding the ball, the guy hasn't gotten open. He hasn't even gotten to his route. So based on his steps, should determine what routes they are running. We don't see a whole lot of 7-step drops. Why? Because we don't trust our offensive line. So if that's the case, this is an offense that should be a moving pocket no matter what.
yeah.
That helps your quarterback. That protects your offensive line. And your receivers should be practicing scramble drill all day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what your quarterback is doing.
Yeah.
Hey,
and-
Silky, how did they do scramble drill with you? So we're, like now when I'm coaching, like we had like if you're deep, you come in. If you're short, you go deep. You just kind of go the opposite way you're going. How did you guys run it?
Same way, and you're always trying to find the soft spot. But whatever you do, you come back, show your quarterback your numbers. Always show him your numbers. And if you're short, always assess what's in front of you and try to get deep so he has an outlet. It's pretty damn simple. You know, I've never seen so many guys with all this speed who can't get open.
Yeah.
And I mean, and even on top of that, you know, what helps an offensive line the best? Running the ball. You've got David Montgomery. He should be the identity of this team, in my opinion, guys. Like, he is 6th in the league in rushing, spite of Nagy. He got 10 carries last week.
Well, Nagy is impressed with what he calls, and he likes throwing the ball. And, you know, I used to block down, crack back, or even do wham block. Sean can relate to this, where your center pulls, and I come down and I block on the nose tackle. So what? So, yeah, Silky was doing it all and loved it. Okay. So to me, if you're not dirty and you ain't bleeding, you didn't have a good game. Intimidation is what I need to see. I got too many receivers that are soft on this team, and I'm seeing that they don't block. But see, I had Peyton. So if you miss your block, you got yelled at. And when I watched film on Monday morning, I got called out. You have to have pride and confidence in what you're doing. And if you're a team player, you do what you got to do. You take away the 41-yard run Montgomery had an opening night against the Rams. Really? Outside of that, how many long runs has he had? You don't see them ever showing Bear receivers downfield blocking anybody. Do you ever see it? Or cutting was what we used to do? They don't do jack.
No.
Standing around looking for the ball.
Last week too. Yeah, that's
So to me this is a stat-driven football team, but not a team.
How do we fix it?
It's not a lack of confidence; it's a lack of competence.
Oh yeah,
That's what I'm seeing.
How did they fix that? How did they fix that?
Well, we always say that nobody is too good to not get cut.
Oh, cut their ass. Cut their ass.
And a lot of times you let those backup players who will give you 100% effort, put them in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, see if the chemistry changes. But you don't know if you don't try it. If we're still in a bad position with all our starting players, bench them. See what your backup, your second streamers can do. And this is a good week to do it.
Yeah.
You put a fire on their guy if he's afraid of losing his job. I guarantee he'll play harder.
You know, the biggest thing was that is you hit that right in the head, because we didn't realize that Sam Mustipher and Alex Bars were competent only until injury. And these guys are sitting on the practice squad. You know, and not to mention you fire the guy who coached them because he had to be the fall guy, but that's another story. But let me digress. You know, you got these guys who came in and did a good job for you last year, and they still be toiling on the practice squad, and maybe even somebody might even have scooped them up, but unless for injury. This is negligence. This is this is an egregious thing, negligence when it's your own team. You don't even know what you have on your team. And that's part of the issue for me is like, you don't know what we have. How can you use it? I agree with you. You know, unfortunately, money plays a big part in it, and it shouldn't be that way, but it is. And you know, you got a guy who's making X amount of millions of dollars. It's going to be very difficult to bench him because all of a sudden, then the higher ups start coming, and the higher ups come down in your head. The Ryan Paces and the Ted Phillips, and like, wait, we just signed him to X amount of millions. You can't bench him. Well, you know, and especially because Sean Desai, he can't push back. He can't say, no, he deserves to be. No, he's young. He's his first year. So, you know, unfortunately, to borrow my guy Phil's term, you know, politics is over performance sometimes here in the NFL. And that's a shame because it really sucks for, you know, older guys like us who played when it wasn't about politics. It was about performance.
Right.
And it didn't matter how much you made. Like Silky D said, they'd cut your ass. If you know what, if 2 weeks, 3 weeks in a row, you ain't doing it. And we got a guy who's cheaper who will, hell, we're cutting you. Sorry, homie.
But go back to that same ideology on this offensive line, because now, to me, personal pride, man against man, that's what offensive defensive line is. That's the trenches. That's no matter what, I can't let you beat me. That's why I like the guy like Larry Borum coming in. Wasn't the most talented, wasn't gifted, but guess what? He gave it your effort. He was going to break his neck to get out there and get them blocks. Hell, do we need to put Daniels back at center? Move Mustafa? Like, why aren't we getting creative?
Let me throw something at you guys that's kind of a reflection of what we have become. It's 3rd and 1. Why are the Bears in shotgun?
Yes, God.
Because he doesn't have a fullback because he doesn't think it's important, and that's
he doesn't
another
want to run the guy. Yeah.
To me, is that's pride. Yeah, I'm gonna put a fullback in there. If I have confidence in his offensive line, I can get 1 yard with Montgomery.
I can get 1 yard.
Some people will make their stats. You know, Montgomery sucks and all that. No, it's not. I said you're only as good if everybody's doing their job. If everybody's doing the job, everybody looks good. You know, but to me is we have gone away from being physical. Is when we're in short yardage situation, we have no confidence. We're in shotgun. I don't understand that at all. You know, and even when you got an athletic quarterback, I still would not be in shotgun. To me, I would be under the center. It is the best time. 3rd and 1. They're looking for you a dive. Best time for play action if you want to do a trick play.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a situation where I'm always going to have an outlet. I'm going to roll my quarterback out. I'm going to have a tight end coming across on the delay. And if it's not there, I can sprint to the corner for 1, or I'm going to go for the big play. It makes sense when you have an athletic quarterback. I wouldn't be doing that with Dalton or Foles. So I don't understand what Nagy see. You see these guys every day in practice. How can you not game plan based on the personnel that you have?
Even 1 yard when you have those 6'5" and 6'7" big tight ends.
Yes. Those tight ends that don't run over nobody? Them guys?
Yeah, like make them fall forward on somebody. Like, come on.
Between Komet and Jimmy Graham, my God, they're like glass houses.
Big for no reason.
Hey, Silky, talk to me about this, about Nagy's thing, because here's what I saw with Mitch. Remember in 2018 when they came out and Mitch had, was Pro Bowl alternate, and they thought they had this, and Mitch was able to run. Remember they had the run they always show against the Patriots, where he starts on the right, comes all the way around, steps into the end zone. But then in 2019, we saw him not run as much. I think Matt Nagy told him directly or indirectly not to run, and you
can see it in the play calling.
And then I saw it a lot with the same thing with Justin Fields last week. When there's times for me, Justin Fields, you read, because you're still new, it should be first read, second read, run. Okay, because now it'll force you to have a spy, which will open up some holes behind you. And it seems like Matt Nagy still wants his quarterbacks to win from the pocket, as opposed to having them use their legs, okay, to gain confidence, to switch the defense. So now there's more holes in the secondary, in the second and third level. So now he can't win from the pocket. Your thoughts on Matt Nagy's stubbornness about having his quarterbacks run his system and not tailor his system to his his quarterbacks?
I think the best way of looking at that is that you almost want these young men to fail. Trubinsky, you didn't draft him, so you really had no allegiance to him.
Right.
So to me, you wanted him to fail. You got a guy now who is probably the fastest quarterback the Bears have ever drafted. Okay, but you're not helping him. And the other thing, I would say to that is, when you are the third alternate, you're not a Pro Bowler. So that's how the Bears advertise a lot of their players. Literally, guys who they picked didn't go to the Pro Bowl. So you go, and then also you're Pro Bowl. No, you're not. Okay, third alternate should not even count. But regardless of all of that, Nagy should be ashamed, but he has a pattern here. It's a pattern. Somebody else, I always hear about dual threats. How many dual threat quarterbacks are in the Hall of Fame? Maybe a handful. That's it. It's about what you do from the neck up.
Yeah, I'm about to say like 4.
Okay. And I say that is great conversation. But right now with the rule change, they can't touch you anyway. So I can run and slide all day. And if I got the speed, I'm going to take advantage of that. I mean, so it makes no sense. You went and got a thoroughbred that you want to keep in the stables. Makes no sense at all.
I said that. Rhetorical question. You have a Ferrari, but you drive it like a Prius.
Yeah, so this is all Nagy, and it's intentional. And that's why I'll say he should have been gone. And I think being a brother, for us to finally get a brother or the savior, and this is what you do. This is like the Last Supper where Judas was going to betray you. Nagy is Judas.
Because I honestly feel he didn't want Justin either. I don't.
No, I think he did.
Because of what happened in San Francisco, he fell to us. Yeah. So that was a gift.
I think
when you get a gift like that, you need to take advantage of that gift. My goodness.
You know what's really weird is you saw his first touchdown pass to Jesse James.
Yes.
Is a carbon copy from what he did at Ohio State. Just flip the sides of the field. And I'm like, okay, listen, if you went to Ohio State and took some plays that he's comfortable with, hats off to you, because that's exactly what they did with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. And I saw that. I'm like, beautiful. And then we don't see this stuff again. Like, wait, just run the stuff that he ran at Ohio State so he's comfortable. This is the future of the franchise. He's probably going to be the face of the NFL if used properly, and you don't cater your offense around him. That's just it. That to me, that's insane.
You're either stubborn or you're stupid, Sean. I mean, you got to start calling it what it is, man.
It is all about control. That's exactly what it is.
He wants full control. You got to do what he says. You're going to run what he wants you to run. And he ain't making the right call.
He's going to be an analyst online next year.
You think that's the reason that he took back play calling in the offseason? And give me your thoughts, Silky. You think he got stripped of his play calling? Because his last press conference, like, well, after here's the funny thing. As I said this yesterday, I'm like, don't bullshit a bullshitter, dude. When someone asks you a question and you're like, well, we had some meetings and the question was, are you calling plays or laser? It's very simple. I am, he is. He's like, well, we had a lot of good conversations and, player to player conversations, coaches to coaches, coaches to player to player. And he went on. It literally took him almost 3 minutes to answer the question for him to say that it's going to be, we're all going to be making plays, but I'm going to keep that in house. Because that's what they're like. No, I'm making a play calls. That's why I think because he didn't have that same arrogance that he usually has. I think he got his ass reamed out and he got those plays taken away. But it don't matter. We'll be able to see, because if that offense after the first drive, if that offense looks smooth and running and consistent, oh yeah, that's laser.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I mean it's sometimes change only occurs when it becomes drastic. And now that the whole world is watching, fan base is pissed off. All medias are talking about how bad we are, and in a coach that should not even have been here. There's change, because also it's about your value. If you continue to lose and your value starts dropping, McCaskey said, we're losing money. So we got to figure out a way to make sure that we don't lose this money. So Nagy, my goodness gracious. I mean, I told you guys last year he couldn't coach, but he's still here.
Yeah. I heard a rumor coming out of NBC Sports Chicago that Nick Foles was the one that actually went to Nagy and said that he's got to change this offense. Of all people, the third string quarterback was the guy who went to him and said, "What's going on? Who is the leader of this offense, guys? Can you honestly tell me who's the leader?"
The most outspoken is Jimmy Graham, from what I hear.
There is no leader, dude.
He don't even play.
So. Matt Nagy.
There's no leader on this. There's no one.
Well, you remember when Nick Foles got hurt last year? Almost nobody touched him. Andy Dalton gets hurt a year, nobody touched him. So we call that an auspicious injury. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that you didn't get hurt against Detroit. You got hurt knowing that we were going to play Cleveland.
Right.
It was a good time to get hurt.
Yep.
Because, it's just one of those things that kind of is. Why are you waiting until today to find out whether or not who's going to start on Sunday? Really? Oh, I won't. I'll let you know on. It's a game time decision. My ass. Who got the reps in practice?
We know who's getting the start.
I mean, it's pathetic. It really is pathetic.
You're not fooling anybody, Nagy.
No.
But see, then that makes the Bears as an organization look inept. That's another black eye on them. It really is.
Well.
So when are they going to start caring? Because
when the money stops flowing, that's when they start caring.
But true change, and it could be something as subtle as, why are all our primetime games getting flexed? Something as simple as that'll start that first domino to fall. Yeah. But they have to be kind of like humbling to want to change it. If we fire Nagy today, yeah, we'll be all proud. But who are we going to get? We promote Laser interim.
No,
got to get Brian Dable. Like, what do we really do?
Well,
Mike Pettin is the only one on this staff.
Hire Dennis McKinnon.
Experience.
Well, Mike Pettin was a former head coach, and he comes from Green Bay. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to win.
But that makes too much sense if you hire someone who knows how to win and who's not going to go along with the program.
Oh, no. But you can't hire Silky D, dude.
No,
why do you think there are no former Chicago Bears on his team in the coaching staff? Why do you think that?
Okay. Silky, tell us, because I can't. The last person I remember was Ron Rivera.
And you tell him, Silky, I know why, but tell him.
A smart brother's a threat. It's one of those situations where you have to be a yes man. I could never be a yes man. Ain't happening. And from that standpoint, the first time you called me a boy, we got a problem.
I didn't realize they were still doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Hell yeah. I'm a grown ass man. You better not call me a boy. This is gonna be a problem.
Look at Chico, Ron Rivera, when he was with the Bears. Lovey let him go. Like, dude, you let this guy go, and there's what connection to the '85 Bears is there on this team? You have Mike Singletary being a head coach, so he can't come in and be a consultant. You got Silky D for wide receiver play, so he can't be a coach or a consultant. You have all these other players. And even the 06 team, you had some good players, and none of those guys are back. No one is back.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Sean. There's no allegiance. We know guys that we've had on the show that have Bears ties that are coaches on NFL teams.
Talk to Chris Harris about that.
Chris Harris, Ricky Manning. Like, there's guys here. Then there's guys that say, you know what? I'd love to coach, but I don't trust the Bears. Yeah. Like, come on.
We've been on that bus before, and I think based on tradition, pride, and royalty, we should never be in a situation where we have to beg for an interview. Beg? I don't think so. So I don't have a problem sitting on my couch and watching them play.
How about coming to talk to you first? Like, damn the begging. Like,
I've been down that road for 3 decades, and I got better things to do.
As a concerned and loyal fan to you and the 85 squad, I apologize for the Bears ineptness, for whatever that means to you, because we're some real shitballs, man. We really are. But
to me, the great thing about it is I truly love Chicago, and it's great to be a fan. I've been on the other side of that table. I kind of know how bureaucracy and politics work. Mm-hmm. And you get to a point where it's a battle you can't win. And it's not worth the stress, because you are going into depression trying to figure out what the Bears are trying to do, and how quickly they can stab you in the back if they get exposed. Yeah, it ain't worth the fight.
Dennis, the thing that fans don't remember. It's difficult because we're passionate about it, but having done this for a few years, it's easier for me to see. It's cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money, dollar bill,
bill,
and
y'all.
that's all it's about. That's really, really, really what it's all about. And it doesn't,
bullshit walks.
yeah. And as long as what did Dennis tell you? It's a trust. As long as they're making money, it doesn't matter. You're going to bitch and moan about it. It's going to give us material for sports talk and for articles and everything else. They don't care because their pockets just keep getting fatter and fatter and fatter.
So if they don't care, why not hire some of our own to at least make it look to the fans like, hey, we got something we can get behind?
Because
that would be the ultimate, if you want to call it a sacrifice.
JB, that makes too much sense.
Plus, anybody that turns this whole thing around is going to want more money. They don't want to pay nobody no big money like that.
Hey, look here.
They're also going to want full autonomy of this team, and that's the thing that Sean kind of alluded to, that they might not get that with this front office, guys. It's a fact. It's a
what's the problem with trying?
That goes against their mold, JB.
Like right now, everybody, just humor me. Let's go in a circle. Pick one person who you would have come in from the Bears right now. I'm telling you, the first person I'm calling Leslie Frazier. That's the first person I'm calling.
I got Olin Cruz. I love Olin Cruz.
I love that pick. He needs to be on that staff.
Samurai Mike.
And keep people accountable.
Well, I can tell you right now, Leslie ain't coming.
Hell no.
Hey,
I was just about to say that. Hell no.
I'd at least make the call.
Yeah.
And the guy I would have loved to brought back here would have been either Jay Hilgenberg or Jimbo Covert.
Jimbo.
Class and smart.
Yeah.
And anybody who can tell you about putting an offensive line together, those two guys. And because really, it doesn't matter what you do on the peripheral. If you can't control the line of scrimmage, you can't beat anybody.
Nope. That's right.
Yeah.
Nope.
Agree.
Hey, Silky, there was a question in the chat.
Yes.
I thought it was a good question. If you were the general manager of the team, would you pay A-Rob?
No.
I think we're all in agreement of that.
Why not?
Put it this way. I had more responsibility and got paid nothing compared to somebody who only has one job. The Bears don't get a first down. A-Rod is sitting on the sideline. Okay? Mm-hmm. Teams ain't game planning for A-Rod. He ain't on no special teams. You paid him $18 million. And the only time he puts up stats is in the fourth quarter when you're trailing when it's called padding. And so he's no deep threat unless it's a double move. So how do you justify paying a guy $18 million? And when Trubinsky was here, he only saw one side of the field, wherever 12 was.
Yep.
Okay? To me, franchise is a player who you cannot win without. Okay? How many guys on the team you cannot win without that justify what you're paying them? That's my point. And so to me, when somebody says, well, you have leverage, how do you have leverage? I ain't paying you $18 million. You can go in the open market if you want. There's not a receiver in the league in the offseason that got $18 million. Not one, who are all pros. Mm-hmm. So Devontae Adams, Hopkins, name them. Those guys you game plan for. You ain't game plan for Allen Robinson.
No. Especially
my goodness gracious.
Right, because he's running right to you and stopping.
So like I said, I see what I see and I laugh because I said, I wish I could have been tied to free agency.
I know you do, Silky D. I know you do. Punt returner as a wide receiver as well.
So it's to me is when you get paid that kind of money, you can do what you want to do. You have no threat for your job. You can show up to practice when you want to. You can do what you want to do. Never had that luxury because at the end of the day, your teammates have to respect that you are the man. And if you're not the man, don't act like you are.
Mm-hmm.
Not $20 million a year worth. No way.
Well, like I said, it's a different time. Can't do anything about when you were born, but all I know is we were in the playoffs every year. So I know what you're doing.
We talked about Montgomery, and I'm a huge fan of his. And your thoughts on the Bears making him the focal piece? because I believe me, I was a running back, and it's going to sound funny, but abuse that dude. Give him the ball. Get him the ball in pass routes. Get him the ball on swing routes. Get him the ball on angle routes. Get him the ball on the flats. Run it inside, because this guy can do it all. There's a lot of offenses who ran pretty well with the running back as a focus. Hell, even the greatest show on turf. I know you had Kurt Warner and Isaac Keem and those guys, but Marshall Faulk was the straw that stirred that coffee. Roger Craig was huge in the West Coast offense back in the day. Ricky Waters was huge back in the day as well. Mm-hmm. Why not use this guy? Because this guy is multi-talented. You see how he works on his craft. He got quicker. He got faster. Very rarely have I ever seen the first guy make a miss. He loves it when he's one-on-one because he makes him look stupid. And this guy is a guy who to this point has been durable. Why not? Why do you think they don't want to use this guy? Because Nagy's still getting the ball out in the pass. Quarterbacks are still gaining those pass yards, even though it's a 1-yard pass and he goes for 20. Now it's 20 yards on your stats. Why do you think he's so reluctant to use David Montgomery when this guy is clearly the best offensive weapon that you have?
Because when he looks in the mirror, what does he see? Quarterback guru. Mm-hmm. That's why Montgomery is not getting 30 touches a game. Slow the game down, control the clock, give your defense an opportunity to stay fresh and really create turnovers, because if you're constantly playing from behind, you can't run the ball.
You can't, no.
And I think with that is we just cannot be predictable. And I'm impressed with Montgomery. Yes, every now and then he might miss a blitz pickup, but he gives 100% effort every day. I can take that over anything. And if you do that and you commit to the run, now you're forcing your receivers outside. If you don't block, you don't play. As opposed to only looking around trying to wait for the ball to be thrown to them. Otherwise, you're not doing jack.
You're right. 100%.
So that's the thing that I see is the fact that there is no commitment to the run. One, because you have a head coach who believes in throwing the ball. You got to do what's best available to you based on the competition that you play. But third and manageable is where you always want to be with a mobile quarterback, mm-hmm. because you have more options. And that's the situation that they got to do. Stop running the ball on first down. And next thing you know, it's 2nd and 9. And then here comes the damn bubble screen. Enough.
Dude, we were running bubble screens back when I went to college in 1989, dude. The bubble screens was just starting to come in, and people are still running those things today.
But like I said, we are so predictable.
Yeah.
Super predictable.
I understand falling back on a play that you like if it works, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, this shit don't work.
It don't work. Like,
Hey, Terrence, you should get Nagy on here. Like, I really think I know something, but I don't know shit. That would be classic if you got him to say that. And what about let's go to defense?
Oh, people would have fun with that, boy.
Dude, yeah, you might win an Emmy for that drop if you ever got that.
Across the league.
Yeah, people would have. I'm gonna try to make his mouth move to say that. Yeah, I'm trying to do that.
Because the locker room is already saying that for him. So shoot.
Yeah. Hey, you know what, JB? That's a good segue. But I wanted to talk about the defense. Talk to me about those linebackers, Silky D. How do you like Roquan and Alec Ogletree that we got? Danny Trevathan is kind of in a pickle now because he as much of a leader as he is. I believe he is. He just don't have that speed that Alex Ogletree has. Talk to me about
leadership only applies when you show up for work. Mm-hmm. He's always hurt. So if you're not available, that's not leadership. I don't care what your loyalty is to a player from where you used to coach. If he can't help us, cut him. He's always hurt. But from a linebacker standpoint, we're very good against the run, but we can't cover nobody. That's our Achilles heel. Having backers that can cover one-on-one with an outside wide receiver, tight end or your back. That's why teams who beat us always behind the front line, that soft area, that between 6 and 10 yards is where we're vulnerable. We had that when we had Urlacher and Briggs. Same situation. That's always been the Bears' weak spot is their linebacker play in terms of covering. And almost all tight ends now are not blocking down. They're in flex.
Right.
One-on-one. It's very, very simple. I mean, so I think that's the thing that I see is that we are pretty good. We just don't tackle well, and we don't cover well from the linebacker spot. But we can stop the run. We're very good from sideline to sideline. But against very good tight ends, we get beat up.
That's kind of the knock on Ogletree is that he's good against the run, but against the pass, you've definitely seen him get exposed this season. I mean,
well, all you gotta do is look at everybody on the schedule and who their tight end is. Mm-hmm. We're gonna have some trouble.
Yeah. Who caught a touchdown? The tight end.
Can I jump over? I want to jump over to the secondary real quick, if I can.
What secondary?
I remember that my all-star team was actually trying to defend the secondary for the game last week.
We wanted to defend the whole defense as well.
And no, because I said the front seven they were good. But I said the secondary was horrible, with the exception of Jaylon Johnson. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Silk?
Well, Jaylon has been playing his butt off since he's been here. You know, he is turning into a pretty good, almost shutdown corner. And teams will game plan for him. But he's the only strong suit you have in the secondary, even though you have Eddie Jackson, who's all pro, who's playing like he forgot who he was. Mm-hmm. You know, going back to 4 is nothing but marketing. I need 39. Can you go back and find 39? Because that's the guy that we're paying. I don't know who 4 is. You know, so it's one of those situations where almost every team has 2 good receivers. And from that standpoint, you're going to see a lot of nickel. Your most valuable guy on your defense is your guy who plays nickel, especially in the slot, because that's where the chains are moving. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's why Cooper Kupp is leading the league. He's in the slot. You got a slow safety or a third corner. Anybody can beat them because literally you can't touch them. And you know, I still have a problem with the rule change. Guy doesn't make a play, he's automatically looking for a flag. If I can't touch you for 5 yards, I can still hit you, right?
Right.
So any guys on crossing routes, if you're on the 5, you should be able to knock their blocks off. Everything's on timing. So for defenses, go back to being aggressive, being intimidating. I started hitting everybody. And I still think about the Rams who do nothing but run bunch sets. How do you defend bunch sets? You play dog up front. You man up and you jack them. Everything's on timing. And then you run stunts with your front 7 to get to the quarterback. It's pretty simple. You got within 5 yards, you can do what the hell you want to do. I don't know why they're not doing it.
That was another thing that even Vic Fangio used to like to have his corners off a little bit. One of the biggest issues, one of the big issues in the offseason was letting Kyle Fuller go. I was really disappointed when it seemed like they chose Jimmy Graham's production contract over Kyle Fuller. Give me your thoughts on that, because imagine, you know, how would you like this defense with Kyle Fuller and an emerging Jaylon Johnson on those corners?
Well, I'll say this. I would have requested a pay cut, a reduction in salary to Kyle Fuller. I'd have kept him. You cannot be a shutdown corner only playing one side of the field. Mm-hmm. And because he doesn't play both sides and doesn't play nickel and slot, depending on who the receiver is, he said, I can only play here. But for what we're paying here, we need for you to play over there too. Because if they're all pro receivers running over there, but you are playing against a lesser receiver, what good are you? To me, it's a situation where I'm paying you to be the best. If you are the best, then you go with the best. I always learn, stop making excuses for guys once you've paid them. And Kyle Fuller is probably in a better spot where he is as opposed to being here, because he was going to be a scapegoat no matter what, based on what they paid him. Another guy who held out and felt he had leverage. You can always cut somebody and find somebody on the street that for less money to cover somebody. It's not that hard. But now with the rule change, you can't touch anybody anyway. So would the Bears be better defensively with Kyle Fuller? Yeah. Experience has a price. You know, and I think from that standpoint, it was a good move for Kyle because they were not going to pay him what he wanted, and he went out there with Fangio. Not a bad deal.
Yeah, I heard reports that they actually wanted to cut his salary by half, and he was supposed to make $20 million. So they wanted him down to 10. He refused. That's why he left. You got Jimmy Graham on the other side, who played 7 snaps last week, making something close to that, right, guys?
Well, Jimmy Graham got one catch for like 11 yards the entire year. Damn. Oh my God.
Like plays last week.
And part of it's him, part of it's Nagy, because he was a good red zone threat, but that's what Cole Kmet was supposed to be. He should have had that year underneath Jimmy Graham to be that red zone threat, and he's not, or they haven't gone to him. And again, that's unfortunately everything keeps going back to
open.
But you don't try, you throw it up. Jimmy Graham, you don't throw it to Jimmy Graham.
I'm talking about Kmet. Kmet's not getting open.
Have somebody there, but you got to out jump him, and that's where Jimmy Graham, I guess, is the reason they kept him. Jimmy Graham's like, I'm 6'7", dude. You might be 6'1", but I'm 6'7" with long arms and a decent vertical. Just throw it up. That's one of the things that I don't understand. Even Javon Wims, the guy that they just cut. Like he wasn't a great route runner. He wasn't pristine. He wasn't super fast, but that dude could jump out of the gym. He had almost a 40-inch vertical. He's 6'3", 6'4". Why
couldn't catch?
No, he could catch. He just didn't throw it to him. Just throw the ball up in the end
zone. Do I have to remind you of the New Orleans Saints game?
Okay, so you're telling me that Allen Robinson can't catch either because he dropped a touchdown pass last week. Do I have to remind you of last week?
We weren't talking about Allen Robinson. We were talking about Javon Wims.
I know, but if you could use that example, I'm going to use this example.
If you've got one guy, Sean, who has 100 some catches, no drops, right? You've got another guy who has a smaller sample size but has more drops in the same season. You can't tell me that that's a comparable thing. There's no way that you can compare those two guys, in my opinion, man.
But you can't. I hear your point, but if you're going to say because he dropped the ball that he can't catch, well, Allen Robinson shouldn't drop the ball because he's had more experience. He has more catches. He has more targets. He shouldn't.
Javon Wims has actually dropped more than just that one pass.
I'm not saying that. I agree, but those are stuff. If you look at him, those are wide. Give very few times, and when you're competing, when you go for a jump ball, or when you literally have to fight for somebody. For whatever reason, you don't have to think about it because your thing is survival. I want that ball. When you have to wait like Javon Wims did, like that, mentally soft people will say, oh my God, the ball's coming. Oh my God, I can't drop it. You have more time to think. And I think that was his issue. But when you throw it up and it's me versus you, there's no time to think. It's survival. And I think that's what his instinct. And I think that was one of the things that they didn't do for him. Just do that, see if it worked. And if it did, continue to do it.
What I was
saying, you're talking about opportunity. Yeah. You have to give the opportunity first. So when you're in that red zone, why are we trying to get cute instead of just doing the throw it up to the 6'7" guy?
Well, I was going to comment on that. Is almost every team has a guy on their team that is a specialist. It's almost to the point where we're hiring or signing guys who are just pass rushers. Who just a nickel slot who plays on special teams. Well, in this particular case, if Jimmy Graham is all he can do is jump up and catch a ball in the red zone, then why would you, first of all, pay him more money than Green Bay paid him when they cut him? That's the first thing. And then you extend his contract when he has diminishing skills. Okay, so he's a specialist. A lot of things he can't do anymore. So it's the fact he can't do that anymore. Why are you paying the kind of money you're paying him? Do you see Jimmy Graham on any special teams? Okay. So I don't understand how the money is distributed. All I know is if all he can do is jump up and catch the ball and he's a specialist, then I can pay you a few $1 million a year just to do that. But other than that, you got a rookie who you're supposed to be mentoring, right? Cole Kmet still doesn't run over anybody, doesn't block well, but he's in his second year. So I think sometimes older guys, this mentoring thing is really overvalued.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't need you to mentor me. I see you later. I can do my own thing. So to me is Allen Robinson, if you're getting targeted 10 times a game, you should at least catch 5. That's a guaranteed 80 catches a year, which anybody can do if you're the only guy they're throwing to.
Right.
So I would tell people, don't get fascinated by numbers. What I want to look at is how many catches are moving the chains.
So
how many catches are extending a drive?
Okay.
And to me, as greatness is measured, where we would not have won if Allen didn't have the game that he had. How many games did he win for us for the money that you paid him? That's my point. And I said, so sometimes we gloss over what is obvious is we've overpaid a lot of guys that should have never got the contract they got. And then we cut guys who are outside of a contract year. Everybody plays hard when it's a contract year.
Ain't that the truth?
And once you get paid.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look at Eddie Jackson.
You keep bringing that dude name up, man.
Always. I'm on his ass, and I'm going to stay on his ass.
So to me, if you're inside the 5, I can go 3 wide on one set. I can isolate Jimmy outside by himself on a corner. I'll throw that jump ball every single time.
Should, yep.
That's it. I mean, that doesn't take a whole lot of game plan. That's called matchups. My God.
My guy's bigger, stronger, faster than your guy. Yep.
But let's do you one better and help your quarterback out. Why not bring in Jimmy and Cole and Jesse? Y'all forget Jesse James is 6'7" too.
There's a concept that we.
Oh well, ooh, my
like
he ain't gonna do that. He ain't gonna do that.
That's what I said.
Why not?
Everybody 6'5" and over, come in. Because last year when Javon Wims is there, I like put Javon Wims, put Allen Robinson, because Allen Robinson shows he can go after the contested ball. Could put Jimmy Graham, put these guys who can go get it, and you spread them out. You say, you know what, you haven't gotten a touchdown. All right, you're isolated on the backside. It's your time this time.
But
you don't get it. It's the next time.
It's simple.
That make too much sense what you just said.
It's simple.
That's what I'm saying, man. When you got the personnel who are specialists at what they do, when those situations create themselves, you should take advantage because you always got a mismatch. Always. This once again goes down to coaching. All coaching.
Yeah. And I mean, right now, you've got Allen Robinson has 21 targets for 10 receptions and 86 yards. That's a 47.6%. That and you want $20 million a year? Give me a break. Give me a break.
So, like I said, to me, how do you have leverage? I don't get it.
I think leverage is based upon fear because he's got a name and he had 100 catches the last 2 years.
Everybody got a name on the back of their jersey. Everybody.
Pay him. The Jets are probably licking their chops waiting for.
I'm not paying him.
Like him.
I'm not paying him.
We aren't, but I'm sure someone out there is going to give him $20 million. Guarantee, especially with the salary cap going up.
It will always be a losing team. Always.
Because people compare him to Brandon Marshall. I'll take Brandon Marshall.
Every day. Every day.
Oh, you talking about Brandon? Another guy who didn't block nobody.
He didn't block nobody, but he'd catch that ball.
Yeah, but think about Brandon Marshall. He never took a team to the playoffs.
This is true.
Entire career.
This is true.
And yes, we are blaming Allen. I'm at least blaming Allen Robinson for not wanting that, that heart that Silky's sitting here talking about. Like, he's not getting separation. He's not blocking. What is he bringing to this team that any other average wide receiver?
And the one time he did get separation, he dropped the perfect pass.
He dropped it.
For a touchdown.
In the bread basket.
Right there. He dropped it.
Allen, right where it says Corona Extra on your shirt. It hit right there.
I'm not paying. I'm not paying.
So all I'm saying to you guys is that the game has changed, and whereas you have leverage when you shouldn't have it, you get paid a lot more than anybody would have given you. And it's not Allen Robinson's fault that the Bears overvalued him and paid him. Because when he was in Jacksonville, $900,000, then had the MCL tear. Mm-hmm. The Bears signed him. He could not even pass the physical, and they gave him a $12 million raise. Whose fault is that?
Bears.
And because he gave him that raise, he was locked into a number that he believed he deserved more when he was a productive back-to-back year. So the Bears created this. Okay, we're going to pay you more for doing less.
Coming off an injury.
Coming off an injury. That's my point. And so as a former player, I wish I could have got away with that, but we couldn't.
I know you
did, but I'm never going to hate on a guy for getting his cash.
Oh, yeah, get your money. But
all I'm saying, man, is that you are blessed and be thankful. Be absolutely thankful.
Yeah.
And you remember, hey, Silk, you remember the old cartoons where they had the bandit like this?
Oh, yeah.
and he had the gun and the money sack. That's Allen Robinson for me right now.
Well,
he just stuck the Bears up.
Well, it's another situation. Going back to even like Jay Cutler, when they could have just extended him and not franchised him and screwed up their money. It's some of the things that the Bears have done from a management standpoint makes no sense at all. And then it kind of screwed up all our money. So we couldn't have the money to go out and get the players that we needed. But we are in quicksand that we created ourselves. But they always tell Bear fans to be patient. Well, how much patience do we need to have?
They want them to be like Cub fans. 108 years.
I might be 70 by the time that I finally see any return.
So regardless of what happens in Arlington, if it ever comes to a point and the ink dries, it's still a few years away.
Yeah.
And I think from that standpoint, it's like, we need to figure out a way to become relevant again. That's the old Bear that I know. But to me, it's hard for me to watch what I'm seeing when they tee it up. It's really sad.
But don't you feel we're past the retooling stage, that it's almost like rebuilding stage, like tear it all down and start over?
Well, you see Sears and Roebuck, they're going bankrupt. They're shutting down. All the brick and mortars are gone. So we don't have any more tools in the shed. We got jack. I mean, so it's but we have a lot of talent that's sitting in a room with bad direction. This can be fixed. We just got to get rid of the egos.
So the entire front office and Matt Nagy.
Yep. That entire staff, the whole staff's got to go. Everybody's got to go. Take them all out.
Everybody got to go.
And Ted Phillips. They need to put Ted
Especially
Phillips in Arlington and let him stay in Arlington, build all that, hire a football guy.
Well, shoot, it's like he must have pictures or something of somebody, because
Ted knows where the bodies are.
He definitely does.
It was all a dream. all of this shit is a dream. Ain't nobody going nowhere.
You're right.
At least not Virginia, not Ted. They ain't going nowhere.
But anytime you are sick and you need to get well, you play Detroit. So we should get well tomorrow.
Damn. Damn. So we're not going to give Detroit any credit because they almost won the other day. Almost
beat the Ravens.
No, actually, they did win because that play should have the play clock went off. It should have never happened.
But then again, that's Detroit. They always get screwed. That's nothing new.
Dude, Detroit always Detroits themselves, and I say that all the time. They will all. I'm
gonna pull that audio for.
That was funny. They Detroited them.
Yeah, watch. Last year was DeAndre Swift. All they had to do is just catch the ball wide, catch it, and then you spike it, and game over. Bears lose.
I mean, that hit in between. That hit Swift between the 3 and the 3, right there, yes. And he drops it.
Yes.
I mean, so what are you gonna do? I mean, so Detroit. My goodness gracious.
Detroit go Detroit and Nagy go Nagy.
Let's not get it twisted. Now they got a worse quarterback than they had with Matthew Stafford. Now they got Jared Goff, a guy who can't even read defenses. So
small hands in the rain too. That's another little stat for you. I've never met a quarterback who can throw in the rain with those tiny little digits.
Yeah.
He has little hands.
Tiny ass hands. Yeah.
How the hell he got little hands?
Because I look at scouting reports a lot more than you do, and that was one of the knocks on him coming out, was that his hands were abnormally small.
Which means he's very soft and he does not like pressure, and he never wants the ball in his hands when the game's on the line. That's Jared Goff.
Yep.
But yet and still, somebody gave him $100 million deal.
Yeah, that was McVay until McVay realized, oh damn. Well, I shouldn't say McVay, but the Rams, and they're like, okay, we can't win with them, and that's why they got Stafford. And truth be told, that team scares me out there in LA with Stafford and those wide receivers, that defense.
That is still my pick. I'm going.
Let me before I let you guys go, let me say this to you.
Okay.
I watched the Rams on both sides, and if I was coaching, which I expressed in this feed earlier. If I was coaching their offense, and when they run bunt sets, I would jam the receivers. I play dog the entire game. Yeah. Everything they do is on timing. And my front, I would be running stunts all day on Stafford. Stafford doesn't like to run, never has. Stunt, disrupt timing up front, take care of those little receivers. And Cooper Kupp, you know what? They're going to motion him every chance they get so he gets one-on-one. Mm-hmm. He loves to run that jet in and out move. I'm like, well, within 5 yards, I'm in your grill, period. It's legal. Do everything you can that is legal. Intimidation. They've had it easy. They really have. And the one thing that I saw when Tampa played them, which was different than when Brady was in New England. When Brady was in New England, they went up-tempo offense. They never huddled. A great way of slowing down that great front seven of Rams, keep them on the field. No huddle, which means they can't substitute.
Or you don't substitute, because I believe if your offense substitute, then the defense is allowed to substitute.
You don't allow them to.
Yeah,
you get the personnel you want, so they can't substitute. Man, let me tell you, up-tempo offense. That's how you beat a great front seven. Getting them tired. And when they can't get to the quarterback, they stop rushing. And I would have been chipping Donald all day. And then running the screen behind him. All day. I mean, so it's I don't sometimes, like I said, I'm old, but I see the game and I know what we would have done.
So before we let you go, Silky, let me ask you this one question. If Virginia McCaskey called you right now and said, Dennis, can you coach the Bears? Would you do it?
I don't even have to get on a plane. I'd have been there. Yeah. I just have the car come get me. Just have the car come get me, and I'll be there. But that's a call I've been waiting on for 30 years. It ain't coming.
Wow. There it is. Dennis for coach. Let's make that happen. Let's petition that, Dennis for coach. Hey, Silky, appreciate your time, man. And we loved having you.
Let's go get this win. Let's go get this win tomorrow. I will tell you, we got personnel. It's just the fact that we are fundamentally flawed, and that's tied to our coaching staff, and that is unacceptable as a fan and as a former player, because a lot of stuff that I see we would have never gotten away with because there was fear of not losing your job or getting cut. What free agency has done is called complacency. Guys, don't worry. We're gonna get paid. We have an option.
Oh, I got this guaranteed money.
I mean, so that's the thing that I see. And stop all this dancing, because while you're dancing, we've been running on the second play. Every time a guy makes a play, he's got a dancing showboat. I'm like, no, why are you doing that? Run another play. That'll show all that dancing.
Hey, Rob, first down, Mark, when they're down by 10.
Oh yeah. It's stop. Just stop it. And so that's what to me, that's what you do in practice. So it's allowed. It's a culture that they have created. And until they get back to the playoffs, shut down Club Dub.
Oh, please, yes.
Shut it down.
I totally agree with that.
500 record even.
I never liked that Club Dub shit.
Do that. You loved it when they were 12-4, Terrence. There ain't no
way. Yeah, but I never loved that Club Dub shit though. Win the game, be happy, go have a beer.
He knows what I'm talking about. Come on. Everyone had that juice in 2018. There is not one person in town that did.
Yeah, we were happy as hell, but Club Dub, fuck that shit.
Loved watching the dance in the back.
Yeah, I would say, shoot, man, I was too tired to be dancing. I would say, oh, please. You know what? Can I get a massage? I'm hurting.
Right. I put in work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, Dennis, we appreciate it, man. I know you got to go get to your college football.
The TV's on downstairs, and I'm taping anyway, so no big deal. I mean, all the good games come on in the afternoon hour.
And prime time, yeah.
We got Georgia and Arkansas today. That's going to be a barn burner.
Oh, I mean, Georgia is going to ride that defense.
Absolutely.
If the game was not in Tuscaloosa, I would pick Ole Miss, but they're playing in Bama. Almost impossible to win there. Those are the games of the day. I mean, I don't care about Penn State and whoever they're playing in this. Who cares about Michigan and Wisconsin?
Wisconsin,
Penn State. Oh, Share Bear would care about that though.
I mean, well, they're playing Indiana, and Indiana beat them last year. That caused them to go on that epic fail of like 5 or 6 games lost.
So
But
Georgia's up 24-0 right now.
See,
I told it.
and Georgia, that defense is a soul patrol, all brothers. Like they just got released from prison. They just be coming. I'm telling you.
Up the prison block, out to the lines, boys. Let's go.
Yeah.
Soul Patrol.
But for us old school guys, man, I just love seeing guys just physical and just beating you up, and you're afraid to even line up. That's what I'm talking about with Georgia. Sweet.
Yeah, can't do any of that today in the NFL. Can't do any of that.
No.
They giving up what are they giving up, like under 6 points a game or something like that? Like they just
So the line for the game, I think, was minus 16.5.
Yes, minus 16.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, they got that covered so far.
Good. Yeah. Right, Sean.
Yeah. So hopefully, like I said, the Bears should get the win tomorrow, and if they don't even show up for work.
Is Nagy gonna get fired at the end of the season if they don't beat Detroit? Because I know he's not gonna get fired.
They're not gonna fire him in the middle of the season.
They never
No, not mid-season. After the season.
I mean, because the Bears have no shame. They're used to getting away with murder. I mean, so it's just a situation. We made another bad decision, so it's nothing new. I mean, so to me, as a Bears fan, you ride or die with your team no matter what. But you want to have something to brag about, to a point where everybody now says, well, what happened to the Bears? I said, I can't tell you. I'm still thinking we're in hibernation.
You ain't lying.
Oh, boy. So what's your score prediction for tomorrow?
It's the Lions. We should win like 30. I'm thinking like 34-17.
Okay, double them up.
Yeah, you can double them up. I mean, this is an opportunity for the offense to get on track, no doubt about it. And defensively, you should have a field day, because outside of who's the receiver for Detroit? Because Galladay is gone.
Yeah, Galladay's in New York.
Field day.
So to me, really, what threat do they have on offense? Anybody?
DeAndre Swift, if he can catch the ball.
Matter of fact, Marvin Jones is gone too, right?
They got nobody. So the Bears they're gonna have a stat day tomorrow. There should be like 6-7 sacks tomorrow. A few tackles for losses. Yeah, I mean, it should be off the track tomorrow. I mean,
Detroit is a bad team, but they're playing for Dan Campbell, but they're still a bad team, and they can't let those little putt engines get confident, because
Dan Campbell, another guy who should have never got a head coaching job. He don't know what he's doing either.
It's crazy.
He's as bad as Matt Patricia.
Hey, speaking of
at least they have a fight with this guy. I mean,
speaking of Dan Campbell, can we play something from Dan Campbell real quick?
Yeah.
Before we talk about his ass.
I think we can. Is it on here?
Yes.
Where'd you put it?
Oh, I didn't put it on here. All right. Well, anyway, let's talk about what he said. This MF said, we gonna bite your kneecaps off. This MF said we are going to get tired. We might fall, but on the way back up, we're gonna bite some kneecaps. If we fall again, we're gonna bite some more until we're the last man standing. What on earth in the name of cannibalism is that?
Was that the press conference he had when they hired him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, always talk like a tough guy. It's like going to a Rocky movie and coming out believe you can beat a brother. Come on. Same old stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, so it sounded good, but man, I got nothing I can win with here. But I gotta look like I can win.
To me, Dan Campbell is the guy at the frat house that used to crush the beer can on his head. That's him.
Yeah, so yeah, man. It's but like I said, Detroit's Detroit. Who cares? But at least they got a dome stadium. At least they could have a Super Bowl. We can't have one
soon.
Yeah. So would you think of it's a negotiation tactic, because there's they're about to build directly to the east of Soldier Field and Lakeshore Drive. There's a big transportation hub that they're going to build, which should bring people right in, literally right across the street. I'm sure they'll have a walkway to get to Soldier Field or that area. Do you see any way that the Bears stay in the lakefront? You know, people have talked about. My plan was, you know, if you allow the Bears to buy McCormick Place, I think that'd be phenomenal. You know, the south lot, which would then be the north lot, then you can have another lot on the south side, and then you still got the 31st Street lot, and you know, if you wanted to, you still have that walkway from New McCormick Place to what would be New Bear Stadium, whatever naming rights it would be. Do you think it's a marketing ploy and that the Bears are trying to, or a negotiation tactic, because they really want to stay there?
Well, I think to break the lease, I think they were saying $90 million, which the Bears can make up in 2 games. How bad do you want to leave? The Park District relationship has been bad for decades. There's nothing new there. Mm-hmm. Then you also got to remind yourself that the Obama Library is going up. There's nothing but controversy over there in terms of who they displaced. Mm-hmm. And some of the promises that were made there have not been kept. That's another nightmare downtown Chicago. And the Arlington Heights move is just another situation to take the scent off the wolves that are attacked them based on what happened last week. You know, McCaskey know about marketing. They don't just forgot about how to win.
So are we really talking about those 5,500 seats that's stopping us from getting the Super Bowl that's going to make us leave?
Well, the 5,500 seats should have been part of the deal when they built the new stadium, period. That shows you how dumb you really are. What? You know, so to me, you left all that money on the table by not having those 5,500 seats. And Jerry Jones said, thank you. Mm-hmm. I mean, think about it. We got the restaurants, we got the hotels, we got the lakefront, we got all the tradition. It would have been a cash cow. So don't get me started with the Bears.
Yeah, it was horrible. I agree, man, because we have the infrastructure, and you know what? And that's why I think it's important that they stay there. And the city wants them there because of the fact that you could build a sports book, you could build places for a restaurant, because people are still going to go. People still go to museum campus. You know, the Shed Aquarium, the Adler Planetarium, and the Field Museum. They go 12 months out of the year, just not during football season. I think they really have to, you know, figure out, and that's why I said if you let the Bears could buy McCormick Place, you know, now you have concerts, now you got Big Ten championships, now you got Final Fours, now you have, and here's the thing, and what I said earlier, it's all about the money. They have the parking, okay, you buy those lots, but guess what? There's still a city tax on every single car that parks.
Yep.
And so now when you do that, you're still getting money. Now you're getting money 12 months out of the year, because you can't have concerts in Soldier Field in January and February and March. Okay. But you can have concerts in January, February, and March with a dome stadium or retractable roof stadium, either or, and you still have those cars coming in. You still get those city taxes. There's just still a lot. And here's another thing that we haven't even talked about. Where's all the money from the weed going? Where's all the money from sports gambling going? That should be more than enough to if not pay for it, to offset it, where the Bears still wouldn't have to come out of pocket very much. So you know what? That's a whole different aspect of it, because the amount of I don't know about you guys, but I think a lot of people smoke weed in and around Chicago. Call me crazy, I don't know. So they got them taxes, and I think there's a whole bunch of degenerate gamblers who are paying the city tax to use DraftKings and all these other stuff. There's more than enough money. There's money that people keep forgetting about. And it's never, if you ever notice, they never talk about it.
They're not going to talk about it until, you know what you just said, Sean? All of that, new mayor. That's what you just said.
Well, the other thing about that that's valid is that with the stadium as it is, you already have the infrastructure. Mm-hmm. You mean to tell me you couldn't make an extension for 5,500 seats and then bring in a retractable dome?
According to reports that I've heard, they have talked to the original designers, and they
Correct.
said that is no. There is no way that they can structurally change this building anymore, supposedly.
Because it's not a landmark anymore. They that got the activated in 06, yep. 08, something like that, or 09, something like that. So it's not a landmark. So either sell them Soldier Field or have the Bears buy McCormick Place, keep it on the lakefront. There's so many different things. You can have him in there. You could have like shit like Jerry. Jerry Jones knows exactly what to do. And you know what? So give me your thoughts about this then, Silky D. If they move to Arlington Heights and there's been talk about bringing another team in here, how would you feel? How would you feel about another team coming to Chicago and actually playing in Soldier Field?
Woo! Man. Well, oh my goodness.
Because look at all the young guys, man. You got Anthony Davis, okay, Chicago's very own on the South Side, who is a diehard Packer fan. And they're like, well, why are you a Packer fan? You grew up in Chicago. He said, well, when I was growing up, the Packers were always winning. He goes, I want to be with a winner. So now we have a younger generation not associated with winning in the Bears. They're just like, well, I'm gonna go to a winner.
Yeah, but I don't think we will ever have two football teams in Chicago ever. That'll never happen. The closest that we got was when the expansions came in with Jacksonville and Carolina. That Peyton had an opportunity when he was alive to be an owner and move the team to St. Louis.
Yeah.
And most Bear fans got to remember, McCaskey squashed that deal to make sure Peyton didn't get the franchise in St. Louis, so that most of the fan base would have went there. And at that time, Walter was on the board of directors. So the face of your team in the league, you made sure he didn't get a team. So there will never be two teams here. And I think it's a situation where we are in a situation where we got too many people that got their hands in the pot who want to be in charge. Yeah, we got the worst mayor at the worst time for everything that's going on here. There's going to be change there. She's got to go because she has no clue what she's doing. She's got to go. And yeah, the weed situation, the casino situation, that's going to be guaranteed funding. That's less taxes for us as taxpayers. We got to pay.
Oh, they're coming to get you, Dennis. I hear.
Oh no, right now they're not accepting any brothers in jails right now.
They're maxed out. Is that what it is? They're maxed out.
Yeah, they're kind of maxed out.
Oh man.
So as they say, wishful thinking that we can get something done in the next few years, and there's some kind of compromise. But I don't believe in my lifetime there will ever be two Chicago football teams here.
I agree.
I think right now is a perfect time to go to that little commercial, little word from one of our sponsors.
There was a
Hit
time
it, AB.
when high standards prevailed, when excellent craftsmanship was displayed and treated with the utmost importance. Acquire the crisp, refreshing taste of Moore's Beer. Moore's Beer. Raise your standards.
That was nice.
Moore's Beer. Raise your standards.
Raise them up.
Yeah, because sure it's not like Billy D like a Coke 45.
No malt liquor. No malt liquor.
No more liquor.
Nah, none of that. Man, this has been a lot of fun, man, and it's been great to have you on, Silky D, because you don't hold your tongue about nothing. You just tell it how you see it.
No, I mean, you always feel better when your team is winning, and it's hard to believe when you have more talent and you find a way to come up short every week. That's depressing, and I think the frustration that Chicago Bears are having are earned. And the incompetences that we are seeing should never be accepted. And it got to be fixed sooner than later.
I agree. I think everybody on this panel agrees with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know how it's going to be fixed or when it's going to be fixed. Maybe Virginia McCaskey can answer that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they're a trust, so they're going to try to get every dollar they can get before, even if there is a sell, it's about value. And I think you look at the Cowboys, what are they worth, Sean? About $4.7 billion?
Yeah, pretty right around there, right around $5 billion. Give or take.
They haven't won in decades, okay? But Jerry Jones knows how to market. Okay.
Trying. It's just Jerry Jones doesn't know how to be a GM.
What is Jerry Jones' famous line? He said that when you put up 175 million, then I'll listen to you. So that way I have final say on everything.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, 6.5 billion, according to Forbes. 6.5 billion they're worth, the Cowboys.
See what happens when you own your own stadium?
Bingo.
And you have your separate liquor contract. You don't have to do what the league wants you to do. You have your own beer sales. Very smart.
Him.
He ain't doing no revenue sharing. That's what I'm talking about.
What's going to happen whenever we get PointsBet Stadium down in Arlington? No more 6.6 million.
You said PointsBet Stadium.
PointsBet Stadium. Book it.
Yes, I mean, so it's inevitable, but like I said, change is inevitable, but it's always better when you got a better product.
Yeah.
And like I said, the Bears have always been a very strong product. It's just that our leadership has gotten bad over the years.
Agree. Shit rolls downhill.
I want to mention to the people in the chat that Dennis also played with Dallas, because I don't know if a lot of people in the chat even know that.
Mm-hmm.
But, since you have a few Jerry Jones references, I figured that maybe I ought to go ahead and say that.
No, I'm still good friends with Michael and Emmett and Troy, the Bermuda Triangle, as you call them.
Right.
I was only there for a year. I was there Emmett's rookie year before they started winning again. And I think you might not appreciate having to leave Chicago to go to another team, but you go where someone's going to pay you and you see how that organization is run, and the loyalty that they have. They take care of their former players. Jerry does. They don't do that in Chicago.
Right.
So I have an utmost respect for Jerry Jones when it comes to that.
If you had to pick one running back, Walter or Emmett?
Really?
I don't think it's even a question.
Did it even come out of your mouth?
AB, don't do it, AB. Don't do it.
AB, don't.
You about to get hurt.
Hey, Silky, before let's remember, you ain't picking nobody from University of Florida anyway.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, I said that Emmett came to Dallas with a silver spoon in his mouth. He's surrounded by all pros and an all-pro offensive line. Walter basically had to work for everything. Until Jimbo Cobra went into the Hall of Fame, Walter never had a Pro Bowl lineman.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about that, I always say Joe Novacek was a hell of a tight end before the back injury. Then you have Alan Harper on one side. You got Michael Irvin, you got Moose Johnson, you got George. You got Stepnoski. You got Nate Newton up front with
Eric Williams on the left.
Eric Williams. And I'm like, so Emmett never faced 9 men in the box. Never faced 8 men in the box.
Couldn't. There's no way.
Walter did almost his entire career. That's the distinction I try to tell people. You just don't understand. Walter never had no all-pro lineman. He never had a receiver that were blocking for him until I got here.
Yep. And then don't forget, too, they got Larry Allen not too long after that.
So Emmett ran behind a fortress his entire career until he got to Arizona. So blessings at what they are, but Walter was the consummate pro all-purpose back, but he was a class act. And every time I see Emmett, I say, that longevity has its place. What Martin Luther King said, you stayed longer just to get the record, even though you're not even top 10.
Nope.
When it comes to running backs, is what it is.
There are some delusional fans out there who think Oppo you. I knew what you were going to say, but I wanted you to let it be known out in the world exactly how all of us feel about Walter, the greatest football player of all time. No doubt.
Yeah. Sweetness has no peer. And I can be biased and selfish. I sat across him every day for 6 years. I know who he is and the man that he was and how special he was to this league, not just to the Chicago Bears. And I just wish, even though there's a statue out front at Soldier Field, that the Bears would have showed him the same kind of love when he was trying to get the new team.
Yeah.
Why didn't they show him no love? Why did Mike Ditka not show him no love in the Super Bowl and let him score that touchdown?
Because he can make money off Perry. Let's be real.
It's a marketing ploy, yeah.
It's all about getting paid, man. And, so I would tell our Bear fans, if you knew what Mike Ditka did on Super Bowl Sunday in 1986, you would have lost a lot of respect for him. A lot.
Yeah.
But, sometimes people are untouchable. No way he would do such a thing. Oh, really? How well do you know the man? I was there, sharing the same air. I had the game plan. I can tell you who wasn't in it when we went goal line. It wasn't William Perry. That's why that timeout was called to put him in the game. Only coach had the power to call a timeout.
Wow.
And I'm really sick and tired of people praising somebody who screwed us and screwed Sweetness.
Wow.
I lost a lot of respect for him when I read that documentary, saw that documentary, and he said he forgot or he didn't. What did he say? He didn't realize. Yes, you did.
Yeah, it's just sad. It's really sad. And sometimes when you tell the truth, they try to blackball you. I was like, man, hey, Bears ain't got to invite me to Jack. I sleep good at night.
Yeah.
Dang.
Nothing else to say.
That's a mic drop.
He got all somber. He got all somber right there. Man, Walter was like, we had somebody on the podcast, and Sean was here. We had this guy on the podcast that said AP is Adrian Peterson, AD, is better than Walter Payton by a long shot.
Okay.
What do you have to say about that?
You talking about all day who didn't know how to catch a ball out of the backfield? That same guy?
That's
Yeah,
the one.
that same
That's
guy.
the one.
The same guy who doesn't block anybody? That's AP?
That's the one.
Yeah. Don't get it twisted. And AP is a hell of a back, but Walter's on the stage by himself.
Agree.
It's it's similar when people try to put like when people want to put Khalil Mack in the same breath as Lawrence Taylor. I'm like, hold on, player. Hold on, player.
I don't know about that.
Hold on, player. He's not. He had a couple of good seasons. He had one good half of the season with the Bears. He's not. He did not revolutionize the game the way Lawrence Taylor did. And to me, growing up in that era and watching football at that particular point, you like Lawrence Taylor was like like you said, Walter has no peers on the defensive side of the ball the way Lawrence Taylor. And we've had some phenomenal and amazing defensive players throughout the history of the game, but none of them changed the game like Lawrence Taylor when he came back in the Giants. Some of it might have been Colombian influenced. Okay, it might have been. Okay, okay, but nonetheless, he still got it done on the field. And there was, to me, I think Lawrence Taylor's. There's no peer to him. What he did on that defensive side of the ball was
and I can validate and vouch for that because I had to block him.
Tell us about that.
And for all you Bear fans out there, just go back and look at the Bears versus the Giants Super Bowl year when we shut them out in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see Silky D make a crackback block on Lawrence Taylor and knock him off his feet. It's called a decleater.
Decleater.
And on the next play, Lawrence got up, lined, and turned towards me. Didn't even look at the quarterback. Came at me. So some little guy who weighed 183 pounds knocked Lawrence Taylor on his ass. And my teammates can validate that shit. You can hear it when you listen to the audio.
I am going to look for that right after we get out of this.
That will be a part of our show package.
So, but LT was a beast. But no matter what, I was blocking for Sweetness. So I said, Coach, you sure this isn't a game? I got to go. See, Willie didn't have to go. Willie Dog didn't have to block nobody. Silky had to do all the dirty work. But I loved it because I'm blocking for Sweetness. That's
So
what I was talking about, being a team game. It's not about stats. Whatever you got to do to win, whatever your role is, accept it and be prideful and do your best every time you line up.
Again, that's why you always one of my favorites, man. I love when you come on, man. I love talking to you all day.
So like I said, I'm the same free agent walk-on who felt like he had to prove himself every single week. No matter what, they want to make sure that they protected Willie and not me. Because in Willie, they had an investment. With me, they didn't have to pay anything. I just produced for free.
And he didn't catch no touchdowns in the cold against the Giants. I don't want to hear nothing about that, man.
But he had his role. Let me tell you what, even to this day, I'll line him up against Tyreek Hill. I'll take Willie Gault. and he's 60 years old.
Fastest man ever.
That boy could run. Woo, my God.
So you would take a 60-year-old Willie Gault and line him up with Tyreek Hill, and Willie Gault will win.
Because Willie Gault is a 100-meter man, not a 40-meter. There's an Olympic guy called Olympic sprinter.
Yeah.
You know, when everybody's talking about Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders, Willie ran 4.17. 4.1. When he played with us, he was the fastest guy in the league. He trains athletes still in LA. He's the fastest man over 55 still to this day. All he does is run, and he's still running. That's my boy. so they talk about speed and say, "Oh, come on, you Bears bragging about the speed." So all you guys right now, Bird and what a good one, you ain't outrun Willie Gault. Still not.
That is true. Yeah, because 40 and when you were 40 yards and 100 meters, that's two
different speeds,
2 different distances, and that 60, that 80 meters, all of a sudden that adds up quick. Like holy shit, and they still got 21 meters to go. Yeah. That's
Willie.
I would love this. That would be a phenomenal thing to watch.
Yeah, he was something else, and he is still something else today. But you know, he was for us at the perfect time because with Willie, they had to roll that safety. No matter what, they were not going to leave him one-on-one. And I did everything backside over the middle.
Yeah.
Got you know your role.
Hey Willie, do me a favor, take him out so I can catch this. This 15-yard dig. I need to catch this dig.
Yeah, so like I said, we were a combination platter. You know, and once we got that lead, turn over that defense, man, it was all good.
Hey, Dennis, I want to ask you a question we got from the chat from my man Vernon. He said, tell us a little bit about Matt Suey. Was he underrated?
You talking about Jubie? That's the Jewish guy who likes barbecue.
Oh my God.
Matt was probably I always tell him he has the biggest calves of a white guy I had ever seen. He was loyal. He blocked his butt off. Great on screens. Tremendously underrated. But I will say, based on what I've seen, still the best fullback the Bears have ever had. Not even close.
Why have they totally diminished that position? It seems like they don't even value fullbacks or tight ends, but
because the league has gone to a passing league. That's why the fullback is becoming extinct. But from a protection standpoint, every back needs one. Okay. And every linebacker is glad he doesn't have to see one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Because that's how you get jacked. Okay.
And linebackers are more svelte. They're not as big and top heavy as they were back in the day.
Back when they used to wear those neck collars.
Yeah.
Woo, let me tell you.
Imagine the Tom Rathman coming at you through him and Roger Craig right behind him.
Yeah, bring in the heat, man. That's like I said, the game used to be physical. Now you can't even touch a guy. He's looking for a flag.
Right.
There's better soccer players.
Yeah. Like that too. It's all over, man. Oh.
Yeah. So like I said, I love the physicality of the game and the fact that that when you came off the field and your pants were bloody, you got you earned your check today. And you're fighting somebody's in your face, somebody throwing a flag because you done got into a fight. Hell yeah. It was worth that 15-yard because now he know he can't punk me today. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna beat his ass all day.
When I was the D coordinator, I used to tell my guys, you get one a game, and just for the whole defense. All right, where you get it early, you knock the hell out of somebody. If it happens to be a little bit after the whistle, I'm gonna yell at you in public. I said, but it sets the tone. I said, I gotta yell at you. I gotta say, what? Stop being so stupid. But you got one, just one. Anything after that, you're sitting next to me, but you got that one.
Every team offensively needs an enforcer, no matter what. I might get mad at you, but you set the tone, and that's a necessary psyche for anybody that you play against.
Fuck, hell yeah, dude.
That's why your offensive line looks so bad because they get attacked, they never attack anyone.
Oh well.
Always in retreat and pass. Yep.
Backing
But
off,
that,
they're
but
not-
that again also goes to your best friend Nagy. Because if you set those guys going forward, okay, that's what Bill Lazor did. All right, how many times did we run the ball last year with Lazor? That's where Montgomery got a lot of his yards. Offensive linemen aren't built to go backward. They want to move people. They want to win by attrition. And Dennis has seen it, and I've seen it in my career, where you've seen guys where they don't even want to compete anymore because you beat them. Not even win. They didn't want to compete anymore. But there's 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and they just want to be gone. And that's because you move them. And offensive line want to move people. Offensive line don't want to beat a speed rusher. They want to beat a defensive tackle and move him out of the way that he wants to go. And that's where you start to get the camaraderie, the chemistry of the offensive line. But that's where you build the confidence, because now a defensive lineman doesn't know if it's a run or a pass. Because if it's a run, now I got to battle. If it's a pass, well, now I might have a shot, but I'm coming off a step slow because I'm expecting a run. I'm bracing for a run. And that's the thing, and keep it mixed up, and they don't do it. Because if you did do it like Lazor did, man, you slow down a lot of pass rushers. Because let's not forget, we weren't complaining about Charles Leno and Mitch Trubisky last year when Lazor was calling the plays. Why? Because he had defenses off balance, and defensive ends didn't know if it was run or pass or whatnot. So a lot of complaints, which are warranted for Mitch, and are definitely warranted for Charles Leno Jr. Okay, we didn't have a lot of those complaints when Lazor called the plays.
Everyone has a plan until you hit them in the mouth.
Yeah, it is.
That is so true.
From another poet laureate, Mike Tyson.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Mike Tyson. Yes.
Well, that was kind of a good impression there, Silky.
Yeah, I've been in front of Mike, man. Ooh,
I bet you have.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, he's
He is a pit bull. Mike is a
Still
pit
a pit
bull.
I'm just so thankful that he got his life back.
Yeah.
Because he was surrounded by sharks. And I think sometimes when you are that high up in terms of popularity and fame, nobody wants you to be successful. Somebody's always trying to attack you. No different than what Robert Gibbons did on national TV.
Mm-hmm.
He lost our black card that night.
Yeah.
Whatever you do in your house, you don't let the man have you say that on national TV. What are you doing? So it's to me, she was a plant. That's all she was. And like I said, we got to protect our own. But sometimes you go out there on your own. When I asked I'd help you, I said, well, don't call me when you get in trouble. I offered my assistance in advance and you wouldn't take it.
Right.
And that's the thing about, as I always tell, before social media, we had each other's back. Now social media has become a forum where you can attack somebody knowing that they can't reply because they're not physically there.
Or punch you in the face.
It's called the cop.
Call them thumb thugs.
So I said, that's what cowards do. I said, hey, man, I'm always going to be here when you want to talk. No doubt about it. So to me, it's like, hey, man, believe in your heart is one thing. Knowing your facts is another. So when you present it, make sure your facts are right. So when you call somebody out, they might get temperamental by saying, yeah, but he ain't lying. I say, that's right. Mm-hmm. I just try to keep it real, man. Enjoy your life and try to make the world a better place. That's all we can do.
Yeah.
I want to pray for Chicago. Every time I look up, somebody else done got shot down there.
Man.
And with the state trooper, it was it yesterday or day before?
Yesterday.
Just sitting in his really. What the hell's going on in Chicago? It's not the Chicago I know.
Ain't that the truth?
So I would say, you guys, be safe out there. Keep the lights turned on. Every time the lights go out, bad things happen.
You got that right.
Hey, Dennis, where you at? You still local? Or you just out in the burbs, or where you at?
Naperville, man.
Oh, you Naperville. Yeah, okay. Nice.
Land of milk and honey. Shit, I need to move to Naperville. I just don't have that kind of money.
Oh,
Dennis, let me get some of your money.
Oh no, the trick is always pretend you ain't got nothing. Nobody bothers you.
Hey, that's the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Unless it's all over the news, then you're like, okay, well, he just signed an $X million contract.
If I had a huge contract, you would not see me on MTV giving somebody a tour of my crib. One. And two, I ain't riding no drop top Benz or Rolls Royce. No. Buy you a piece of place where nobody knows you. Good.
So what you gonna drive then?
What?
What you gonna drive? You said you're not gonna drive the drop top.
I'm
drive?
always gonna have a dealer car. Always.
Okay.
So you can always trace the license plate back to the dealership. You don't know where I live.
Dude, that is a KG vet move right there. That is a KG vet move.
Boy.
At some point in your life, you gotta have some privacy. Protect something that belongs to you and nobody else. I've been sharing my life since I've been in Chicago. As I retired, decided to keep some things to myself. So everybody ain't your friend. You know, almost everybody who asks, say no when you don't want to say yes, and say hell no if they don't listen. And go about your business. Do you get to a point where you don't owe everybody a favor? So don't let them guilt you or manipulate you, believing that you do.
Well said.
So,
words.
Like I said, I'm enjoying retirement. Absolutely.
Seems like you are, Dennis. Seems like you are. Well, man, we got to get out of here. But Dennis, we appreciate you for taking the time to come on the podcast and drop some gems.
I got a question. When y'all gonna put the podcast on the road? When y'all gonna do live remotes? Is that coming?
That is coming in November.
Oh, why you gonna wait till it gets cold?
Well,
we're not
indoors. As long as you're gonna be indoors, there you go.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be inside. We're gonna be inside. Yep,
Nice
it's
cozy.
coming, and we're gonna be in downtown Chicago.
Well, the property value down there should be a lot lower. You should get a good deal.
We will be at one of our sponsors, actually, Under Armour.
That's wonderful, man. That's the way to go.
Yeah, we will.
That's like the underground. And like the Down Low Brothers.
Whoa!
That went left real fast. That went left real fast.
I'm just like tell you, man. You gotta be careful out there.
Woo, stay away from those. Stay away from those Down Low Brothers, man. Stay away from those.
You know, sometimes those are good friends to have because they got good credit.
Oh my God.
Oh wow, Dennis, you might have missed your calling, man. You stand-up comedian after football.
Man, let me tell you what. I talk to everybody. I'm always being very strategic about everything. Always understand you have other options, and sometimes take advantage of those options and get in with the right people. You never know when you're gonna need a favor.
Yep. Invest in people.
Yeah.
Invest in people and people who can actually keep a secret and pick up the check.
Okay.
Like you. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm about to go get me another beer because my beer is empty.
Yeah, his third beer that he's notice off camera. He got the other one. That's my first beer. This is my first beer.
Clearly, you've invested in Moors.
Oh no, I remember his screen was off for a while. I said, "Where did he go?" He was having a beer.
He had sound problems. Yeah.
Hey, that's okay, man. You know, you got to drink the sponsor's beer. I got no problem with that. Absolutely.
Oh, it's worth it though. That's the thing. We're not making this up. Like it's that good to us, honestly, 100%.
Yeah, it's good beer, man. Like I said, I drink it in the morning.
Unfortunately, Silky doesn't drink, so I can't help.
Oh, you don't drink
at all?
Oh, okay.
Well, that's good.
I'm always a designated driver, and I don't forget stuff.
Yep.
Well, I am not always the designated driver, and I forget a lot of shit.
See, so that's a built-in excuse when you drink and you forget the stuff you said last night. I've dealt with too many people like that. So therefore, I said, make sure you tell me. I'll remember what you forgot.
I always keep one of those with me because I always forget shit. Well,
gentlemen, it has been a pleasure, and I almost guaranteed win on Sunday. But I think it's an opportunity for us to get back on track because right now we're going to be running downhill the next month based on competition, and we cannot go into the fight with one hand tied behind our back. We've got to, strengthen some things up front Because we're going to ride with Justin. We got to do better in terms of protection and play calling.
Absolutely.
It's all about personnel and understanding what you're playing against and being smarter than the team that you're playing, because it's a coaching match. That's all it really is. Man against man. Who's smarter, who's better? But put those guys in positions to be successful, as opposed to built-in excuses for when they don't.
Yeah.
Anytime a head coach tells you, I got to see the tape, well, you're down on the field anyway. What the fuck? It's right in front of you. What do you mean you need to see the tape?
And you got people in your ear telling you who screwed up, so you know exactly what happened.
You
got the pictures too. You got those pictures they said you look at every time you come off the field, and so you know exactly what's going
about
on.
having to see the tape. That has gotten very old.
Very.
Yeah.
He don't want to see it. Shoot.
He doesn't want to.
Right.
Yeah.
So
No, because this is his masterpiece. That's why. And nobody's buying nobody is buying his portraits.
$9 at the gas station.
Yeah, so it's so he better hurry up before all the Bear stuff is on clearance before Christmas.
Yeah.
hey, well, since you're still on here, we're gonna do some shout outs real quick, and then we're gonna get out of here. So Silky,
Okay.
you wanna kick off some shout outs?
Shout out to my brothers and my family in Tallahassee, Florida, that we can finally get a win. My Seminoles have been doing very bad this year, and I feel their pain. And unfortunately, coaching once again has shown that we're inept, fundamentally flawed. But that's the board of directors paying all that money. It's easy to find somebody to come in and bring you back to prominence, but it has to start up front. We just got to work on better coaching, better personnel. You got 4- and 5-star athletes coming to high school. There's no excuse you can't win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, and Florida State has always been a powerhouse. I don't know what has happened in the last 5-6 years, but it's embarrassing because now I got guys from Miami and Florida calling me bragging. I don't know what you're bragging about. Florida ain't won a playoff game or a bowl game, and neither has Miami. So they can shut up too.
Right, especially Miami.
So, no, it's like I said, to me, it's always a shout out to our Bear fans. It's not about being patient. It's about being real. Never lie about what you see. And if you don't like what you see, complain. Make change. Instead of keep giving your money while you're bitching. Stop giving your money. Invest in something that's going to give you a better return.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, like if you go to McDonald's, you're going to get some fries, right?
Yeah.
That's a return on your investment. That burger's always going to be good, but them fries, man, and make sure they hot. Because, McDonald's fries don't think with the crap if they ain't hot.
No.
Yeah, so if you get a chance, get us a food sponsor on here, Terrence.
Working on it.
We need fried chicken, man, some hot sauce.
I knew you were going there.
Man, a brother would drive through some snow for some good chicken.
Oh boy. Sean, I know you got some shouts.
Well, yeah. Well, first I want to shout you guys out for having me on. I appreciate it, man. I'm glad you guys broadcast on our network on Sports Zone Chicago. It's a great addition to our stable of good shows. So definitely shout you gentlemen out for being part of Sports Zone Chicago, which is awesome. And I want to shout out to my other people at Sports Zone Chicago, my co-host Maya, my producer Ivan, okay, Clarence Council, who is our social media guy who gets everything out there for us, and my Elliot, and then the fans, all our fans and followers. You guys make it easy for us to come on and talk shit every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 to noon. And we have guys that participate. We have our usual cast of characters. We're picking up new people every day, and it's just fun interacting, talking shit, talking sports like I've been doing since I was 5. So, I want to shout out to those guys who really make it fun and make me like I am excited. Like when I'm done with CrossFit in the morning, I'm like, man, I got the show today. I can't wait to talk to such and such, and I know my people are going to be tuning in. So,
you do CrossFit?
I do CrossFit 4 days a week. Yeah.
You're lucky we'll make you take your shirt off.
Hey, I just got that small little. I got the little belly, but I said I'm good. Hey, I was just benching 320 yesterday. The other day.
My brother, that's my super back. Yeah,
I can't even bench half of that.
Man, I'm trying to look as good as you when I'm 60, Silky D. Shit. I'm trying. That's why I shave my head so you can't see the grays.
There's a reason why when you have turn down sale, you put chocolate on your pillow. I'm always there, baby.
Jeez.
JB, what you got, homie?
My first shout out gotta be to you, Silky, because like I said, man, love talking with you. Get excited every time you get ready to come on. You know, hopefully one day, man, we can go get some chicken and some barbecue, man. We'll set.
Oh, that's a date.
Hey, it's on me too. I appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely.
You know, have you come out to the flag football field and just, you know, enjoy the life, man. Just, you know, it's on me when I see you. Please, let's make that happen.
Absolutely.
Secondly, got a shout out to moms. Moms is always watching. Big fan. The reason why I play sports, the reason why I watch sports. Still got the 85 Bears on VHS, man. We love it. We love it. We love it. And then shout out to our fans. Sean, you brought some names that came out, man. I saw them, some viewers that we hadn't had before. Thank you. We appreciate it. Shout out to Sports Zone Chicago, Tilly's, Leg Pod, Under Armour. Man, we growing and we growing, and we couldn't do it without everybody. It's a family. It's a village. And we taking off. So I appreciate it, and I thank and salute y'all.
Definitely.
Absolutely, man.
Definitely.
AB.
Silky, I got to start with you, man. Growing up for me as a Bears fan, you know, early 90s, you know, late 80s, I got to watch you guys play, and you guys are the reason I'm a fan, first and foremost. So thank you for all your hard work, effort. You know, you said earlier a little bit how you didn't get those splash plays like Willie did, but you instilled something in us as the fans, as a hard worker and someone that came every day and brought 110%. So I got to say thank you for that, because without you guys, you know, we might not be fans today of this team. And I got to give you 100% shout out on that. So thank you.
I appreciate the love.
Sean, I've been dying to get in a room with you because I absolutely love your show. I love what you guys do over there. I'm proud to be a member of this group that, you know, is now family with you. So I appreciate your insight. Appreciate you coming on here, man. Awesome job as usual. Thank you. Much love there to you, man. And
thanks, Papa. I appreciate it.
My two guys right here on both sides of me, man. I love doing this with you every week. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's the most fun I have all week. So I thank you guys again. Last shout out for me is the fans. Facebook user, please go to somewhere else so we know who you are. Go to YouTube. Jump on and subscribe with us there. You know, go to StreamYard and register so we know who you guys are, because we had some great fans today that we couldn't even really recognize because we didn't know who you were. So please make sure that you guys go and subscribe on YouTube to our show. Also, on top of that, the Sports Zone, make sure that you're doing that. My guys at 1252, thank you also for, you know, everything you guys do for me. And that's all I got. It's on you, Terrence.
All righty. Well, my first shout out is to Silky D. You already know how I feel about you. You Silky D, man. And I'm still mad that you weren't in the Super Bowl shuffle. Still mad about that.
Let it go, man. Let it go.
I can't.
He wouldn't see royalty checks for that anyway, man. Come on.
You know, sometimes,
yeah, man.
Sometimes things are meant to be or not meant to be, but that's okay. I mean, that's still my roommate. Still Willie Go.
Yeah.
You know, and I got over that a long time ago, and to me, it's one of those things where God had other plans for me.
Well, I'm gonna try to get over it. I'm gonna try.
That ring, though.
It's hard, man. It's hard.
And you go into your stash of Moors, that'll help you.
Yeah, that'll help me for that day. Harry, what's up, man? Harry is the gambler who knows his bets. So if you're a betting man like me, then go ahead and bet with Harry. Whatever Harry says, that's what you need to do.
So Harry is on the 1252 Sports Network. He has a new show called The Over Under he does on Fridays. He's formerly of Bucks report.
Oh, okay.
The guy in the last 2 weeks has went 10-2 on his picks. Dude is on fire on baseball. He knows his.
There it is, the ring.
There it is.
That's what he's doing. Oh, look at that.
That is awesome, Silky.
Man, that's
lovely.
Yeah. It's the light so bright.
I'm blind.
I also got to shout out everybody in the chat, everybody who said something, even the ones who didn't. They lurking, but we appreciate all of y'all. Facebook user, I wish we knew who you were so we can give you credit. You were on fire, like AB said. You were on fire today. You had some great comments, great questions. We salute you. I got to shout out AB, JB, Sean. No show without you guys. No show. So I appreciate y'all. Got to shout out Sports Zone Chicago. We're happy to be part of that now. You got a great thing going on with Sean and Mike in the morning, 9 until
noon, 9 to 12.
I guess until you finish talking shit.
No, that'd be perpetual. That'd be a never-ending story. But
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, though. Definitely check them out. You got some good things going on with your other shows too. I want to shout out Tilly's, which I'm going to. I'm going there after this. Tilly's in Cal City. Appreciate y'all. Gavin, he's the owner. That's my man. He'll take care of you. Go to Tilly's. Tell him Terrence sent you.
No, if we do that, can we say put it on Terrence tab?
Yep, do that.
Yes, put it on Terrence tab. Put it on Terrence tab. See how far that's going to get you.
That's what it's going to get you.
Okay, so now start giving me some of his money. The guy, he owes $5,000, so you better.
Shout out to Moore's Beer. Raise your standards. Shout out to my family, who I always say I never get any family support. I actually have some family in here. They ain't said nothing, but they in here. Shout out to you, Big L, and Bree, and a few others. I don't remember the names. Big shout to Vern, too. He had some great comments, great questions. And that's about it for me. So I'm not even going to go through the formalities like I usually do when we go off. I'm going to just say we out.
Oh, you about to drop the mic on the brother?
Drop it.
Yo, this is your boy, Draft Dr. Phil from the Tape Never Lies Network. You gotta love my guys at the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast. If you're not listening to them, you probably don't know shit. Well, they don't know shit either, so you're in good hands. Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.